Is Cam on? Share. Hello. Here's the prompt. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Very curious about this one. Is submission power or weakness? Come up, request up. Okay. Hey, Green. I'm very curious about this prompt. I actually have no clue what the answer is. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. Share out the live to friends. Grab your heart me, all the good things. But I would love to hear the prompts. My mom at Gravity actually came up with this prompt, and I'm very, very curious as to, thank you, Green. I'm very curious. Is submission power or weakness? I have a few things. Hey, Moon. A few things that, I'll be honest with this one, I genuinely do not know if it is a power or weakness. I'm going to add it to my story. Okay. Oh, Green.
Hey. Nice to see you again so soon.
Nice to see you again so soon. We have to chat.
We do. Actually, I meant to ask because I was about to buy it before leaving work. What are y'all doing the 2nd through the 5th of July? Because I found tickets for like 1:30. I was about to buy that bitch then and just.
Yeah, just come on.
Bet.
What's wrong with you and Moon? Y'all are killing me right now. Unaliving me. Oops, we're on TikTok.
What the hell are you talking about? We're good.
Come on up. Come on up, Ronnie. Nah, he been throwing shots lately, and
She had a breath. Who are you talking about? Me?
Yeah.
What the?
Yes, he does.
I am changing. I did just kind of rush home.
No,
I did check.
like
Fuck
he's
you.
so shady. Like just a
He
shady
is being
boy.
shady. I think I know why he's been extra shady, but we talked. What he called me? What day was this? I think what's today? I think Sunday. We talked. So I mean, we good. He just being shady. I think we done reached new
Territory.
yeah. So
Heights. Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say new heights, but maybe territory is better.
It's the thing is with Moon, you have to call that shady whore out. You can't just let
clearly.
him run
I
rampant.
was being, not because I'm a nice person. I
You
mind
can't be
my
nice to him.
business. Like that's what I'm big on. Like I mind my business, even if I see you acting a little crazy over there. Like I'm gonna let you over there acting a little crazy, and I'm minding my business. I'm not gonna say too much to you because I don't want you to say too much to me, even though you never would. I mind my business.
Mind your business and drink your water.
Right, and drink my water. I'm trying to be a healthy, clean
Healthy
girl.
clean. Okay.
But
Hi,
yeah,
Ronnie. Ronnie, you said you're going to try this again. Now, I will say this is a good prompt for people who have not done well here. This is a good prompt. So, have you not done well here? Because
we cut your ass out, Ronnie. You look like we might have cussed you out. Oh, I think we did.
No, not necessarily. No, it didn't happen that way.
it didn't.
It just was. I was quiet in it because I believe that I was saying some things that was not
Needed to be said.
not needed to be said it to the age group that comes in here. So I apologize about that.
No, what you
Oh,
said?
don't
I
worry.
can't remember.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
I do remember
it's
you starting shit.
yeah, I do. Thank you. I remember that. I do remember you getting some things started. But let's go ahead and let's start on the prompts. Before we start, everyone tap. Let's get to 5K like really, really quick as we
Yes,
can.
just tap them screens, send them heart me's, share the live to your friends, anyone you think that's going to be interested, have some conversation, even if you feel like they're going to have opposing views, even better. Let's shake the room and talk.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Green, you cooking or you inputting?
I'm gonna say, well, I have a question. Like, is it submission as like power for me or a weakness for me?
So
Is that how?
it, yeah,
Because I'm a little confused.
is someone submitting power or weakness? The ability to submit. And I don't think it has to be a man, or I don't think it has to be a
Oh,
woman
okay.
conversation.
No,
Oh,
I
he
think
said for women. For women. Okay, we're
the
doing for women.
ability to, even if it, like, I'm gonna take gender roles out of it for just a quick second, even though I feel like submission is kind of, tied to a gender. But like, to take gender out of it, sometimes I want to say that, like, in a professional setting, often you might, and I don't want it to be like misconstrued as like submissive, like being submissive in a professional setting as like you not having power, or having power in your position either. But if you're maybe work on a team, maybe like the subject of the matter, of the responsibilities given, that your colleague or team partner such and such has maybe a little bit better knowledge, you can kind of be a little bit submissive to their knowledge for the betterness of the project. That's my, like, out of gender roles, non-gender roles kind of disclosure. But in a gender role setting, where I think the relationship or the prompt ties to, like, a relationship, I'll definitely say, I don't feel that being submissive is a sign of weakness. I actually feel like that might be of power. I don't know exactly if that's of power, but I would definitely say it's more of power than weakness, because if you feel strongly enough about your husband, I want to assume, or someone that you've been dating for a while, that they have been leading this relationship, getting this relationship, or maintaining this relationship to stay at a place of bliss, or happiness, you're gonna be submissive to that. And I feel like that's gonna make the relationship grow and get to greater heights. I don't think that's gonna be anything but positive. So I see that as a power, not a weakness.
Same.
I land.
I knew for a fact you were not going to use all 3 minutes, but I was like, I'm going to give her 3 minutes.
I feel like I used a good amount. So.
You used about 2. So, you
yeah.
And you did 2 points. So I knew you were going to. All right. Welcome, Ronnie. Thank you so much for joining. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompt. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to restart your counter. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompt. Go for it.
Okay. I don't need that much time, so
okay.
2 minutes help me reflect a little bit. But submission is something that should be taught by the mother and the father to the children. It's always taught to the son how to submit to the woman, but it's not necessarily taught to the woman how to teach the daughter about submission. You think submission is weakness, but it's absolutely the most powerful thing that you can even have, because you can persuade greatness in the man that you choose by submitting And I think submission is just looked at the wrong way. It's not like yes sir,
Thanks,
I
Prosperity.
bow to you. Woo, 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 woo. It's not like that. Submission is a skilled trait.
Yes.
It's a skilled trait that keeps the woman in power next to the king that she chose, and
Yes.
it keeps the kingdom
Okay,
alive.
calm down.
And
Sorry.
I think that we misunderstand that in thinking that it's something weak, and it's not. And I'm gonna land the plane there.
Thank you so much. Okay, so rules of the panel. Rules of the panel. You actually do not, y'all. My mentor in my head's in here, so I got to do real good. You don't come off mute until I introduce you. So I'll give everyone 2 minutes. You go in the order you came. Kingdom, then it'll be Mr. Crunch, then it'll be you, Oksana. I'm really excited to hear your thoughts. So I'll go ahead and go to Kingdom. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'd love to
Thank
hear
you.
your
Thank you.
thoughts on the prompts.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I feel like submission is power for both, especially if it's a positive understanding and everybody's making that agreement to coerce and work together. It could be power for both. We see a lot of wars right now where the submission word is kind of taken out of context because of a lot of women giving submission to the wrong men, and sometimes it's the man that's giving submission to the wrong women. So we see that kind of end up being a thing that makes a misunderstanding about the word submission. But I feel like with a man, it's power for him. If he can submit himself to his woman, she's going to sharpen him. She's going to make him better. And for the woman, if she can submit herself to the husband, it's going to make him also be able to cherish that excess if he's in the right place and in the right standing as far as his position. He's going to cherish that excess, and he's going to make sure she has everything she needs because he's not going to want to give that up to be able to lose that. That's a great thing to be able to get submission from a woman. So, I feel like it's power for both.
Thank you so much for sharing. Are you landing there? Yeah, you are. Okay. Gravity, do you want to come up and help mod? This is Gravity's prompt, y'all. Gravity, my mod, he gave me this prompt. We're excited to hear. Okay, so Mr. Crunch and then Oksana and Princess after. Welcome to the panel. Thank you so much for joining. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompts.
Hey, I appreciate you so much for letting me on your post and your panel, young lady. I hope life has been good and you're making all the right decisions. Look, I feel like this. I'm from the old school, the 80s. Ooh, yeah. So when I talk to you young people, I tell you fast and I land fast, but listen to me. Now, I've actually think that submission is good, but it depends on what mind state you're in. At one time, I used to submit to women that look like garbage bags with feet and legs to do anything, but now I submit to women that win beauty pageants, that don't have kids, that have good credit, and can suck the skin off a snake, baby. Life is good for me. I hope life is good for you.
Oh my god, that just pissed me off. They ruined that 807 for all.
Anyways, alrighty. I'm sorry, y'all. sorry. I knew I was gonna get a troll. Something in my spirit said a troll was coming. Oksana, thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the panel.
Hey.
Hi. I'm gonna go ahead and give you your 2 minutes and you may begin. Prosperity, if you want to come up, you can request that.
So yeah, I would say like submission, like it can literally be both, right? You submit to someone, right? You're essentially put yourself in a vulnerable position, right? Because you're essentially relinquishing power and control, autonomy to another person, right? And that can put you in a vulnerable state, a vulnerable position, right? Yielding to the wrong person or to the wrong people can literally be a hindrance for women. And I think when men talk about, oh, I submit to the woman, they're not talking about it in the same way as how they perceive women to submit, right? Now, I think under the right conditions, right, submission can be power. However, those conditions usually Um, yeah, those conditions usually they have to essentially be kind of not perfect conditions, conditions where there's a benefit to submitting, right? Be it social, economical, a benefit to submitting, right? But unless there's any benefit to submitting other than just, oh yes, like I'm gonna tell you what to do, then it's a weakness. And the issue is that a lot of women who say, oh, I'm going to be submissive, and they just submit to anyone because they believe that that's what they're supposed to do as a woman. But womanhood and femininity isn't just submitting to any random man because that would leave you vulnerable.
I like that. I agree. I absolutely agree. Hey, Prince. Oh, perfect. Princess, you're back. Welcome back. Thank you so much. Go ahead and let me know your thoughts on the prompt. So happy that you're here.
I mean, I don't necessarily understand what the definition of submission is.
The definition in the dictionary.
Yeah, like what would you say is the definition?
I'll grab that for you. Give me just a second. Should have had that prepared, so that's on me.
Nah, I should have already been looking it up that whole time I was gone.
No, you're good, boo. It's okay. So, the act of yielding to the authority or will of another, or the formal presenting of something, such as a document or idea, to an authority for judgment, consideration, or approval.
In my opinion, based off of that definition and based off of how people have described it to me multiple times, I would say for me, I personally, would feel weak. I do not feel comfortable like like being like, oh, you're my authority and I respect you because you're my authority. Like, ew, I hate that shit. Like, I don't care about anybody's position. I don't care about who you are. I don't care if you're my boss. I don't care if you're my manager. Obviously, if you ask me to do something nicely, respectfully, I have no problems. It is what it is. But if somebody's over here saying being disrespectful, then that's a whole different like issue. But ultimately, I think that in the way that men describe it, I think that it's also weakness. They tell us women, oh, shut up and go make us a sandwich and submit to us, and then they expect us to want to submit to them when they're constantly belittling us and framing submission as something wrong or something to I can't find the word, but I hope y'all understand what I mean. Y'all framing it to be something it's not.
I understand that. Yeah. Almost as if they're misunderstanding, mischaracterizing it.
I think that they're being more controlling than leading.
Ooh, I like that talking point. Okay.
May I say
I want
something?
the 1 second. I have one more new panelist that I want to introduce. Is it
Wookie Cookie.
Wokie Cookie? That is adorable. That is so cute.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna lie, Wokie. I thought you were a troll page, and then I looked at your comments, and I was like, oh, she good. Okay, but thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the panel. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and then we'll go to open panel. I see a couple of people who talk.
I believe a lot of these men have been fed the idea that submission is like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. This is like everyone should do it. Now, just so you know, everyone can live their own lifestyle. It's a lifestyle choice. Now, with each lifestyle choice comes negatives. And if an individual sees a lot of negatives within a choice, they can choose not to live that lifestyle. And I think they wrap submission up in like a pretty bow and say, these are all the positives. This is how it would look if it worked out well. But it never actually shows you what it looks like when it works out, when it doesn't work out well. When an individual yields their will to another, their partner, constantly, like consistently, you can do that here and there and when you feel like it. But if you are constantly yielding your will to another, that makes you codependent and a pushover. That doesn't make, I believe that you are not a full functioning human being if you can't understand your wants and act upon them. If you expect someone to have your best interest in mind 100% of the time, that is impossible. The government doesn't have your best interest in mind. Your parents will always have your best interest in mind. Like, your parents can say, hey, go to college, do this, do this. They could have good intentions, but those intentions are not going to be best for you. So if you, and just with like your partner, they could have good intentions. They love you. They want the best for you. But if you don't understand what you want and what you know is the best for you, and you can't advocate for yourself and do those things and like actually just take steps to do stuff, that makes you codependent, and I think it makes you weak. There are benefits, but do not wrap it up as a pretty bow. There are a lot of negatives, which could lead to abuse, in which, like, if you're constantly letting someone control you and yielding your will, that's kind of, it sounds a little abusive.
AB, and you and Oksana. Did I say your name right?
Oksana, yeah, you got it right. Thank you.
Perfect. And then Cleopatra, I almost forgot about you, girl. Hi, welcome.
You did, lovely. You did.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. I'd
Yes,
love to
thank
hear
you
your
for
thoughts
having
on the
me.
prompt. And then, just so everyone knows how open panel is going to go, I like hands just so I know who's going next. I know Kingdom wanted to go, then Ronnie, then Oksana. Go ahead, Cleopatra.
Okay, so like it's like words do have definitions, and the word submit means to yield to the authority or will of another. And when you're doing that, you are giving the power to and control to an authoritative person that's gonna be you basically like a child if you willing this power over to another person. But what men will understand it better, right, when you put it in its proper context. And when you tell a man he has to submit to, this is for married people anyway. This ain't for boyfriend, girlfriend. This is supposed to be for married people. If they ain't Christian, they shouldn't even be talking about it anyway. So I don't know. But the word says submit one to another. So they supposed to be submitting to each other. And the reason men give so much pushback when you tell them they need to submit to their wives, that's why they get a pushback, because they know what that means and they don't want to do that. But they 100% want her to do it. You see what I'm saying? They not equally as happy to submit to her. That's why they never talk about it. You never hear them say submit. They telling women to submit, but they not also saying because we're going to submit to you too. There's a reason they leave that out. They don't want you to even bring that up because they're not going to do it. So it's absolutely leaving you in a powerless situation. And that's why, this topic is going on so much, because women are just not willing to do that, for these men. And a lot of these men are asking women to do that while they're in relationships with them. They're not even married. So I just think that I was married for 15 years. I've been widowed for 5. There was no me submitting to my husband. We submitted one to another. He was calling the shots and doing everything depending on what was going on. And I was calling all the shots and leading the way depending on what was going on. Just whoever has the best idea at the time and in the moment, that's who's going to call the shots in that moment. Just 2 adults respecting one another inside of a marriage. That is it.
So beautifully said. I'm so glad you joined. Oh, thank you. I'm actually gonna do my little hand. Like, I gotta find it though, and it's gonna take me just a second, but I want to do it, so I'm doing it today. Sound effects. Cool. I don't give those off that often. We actually have one more new panelist. He was in the comments popping it. So I really would love to hear what you have to say, Mr. Grey Ghost. Welcome to the panel. Thank you so much for joining. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompts. I'm going to give you 2 minutes and then we'll open up the panel. Hello, Grey. I've sent you an invite to unmute your mic. Are you here with me?
Okay, I was talking my butt off. Hey, hello, everybody. Hello. So I don't need the 2 minutes. I'll be factual and I'll be straight to the point.
Okay.
I was married, messed that up because I did not learn these simple things that over the past 3 years of self-isolation and tons of therapy, I have discovered. Submission to me, this is just my perspective. Submission to me is solely based on the utilization of your partner's strengths and your willingness to allow them to lead where you know you are weak. You should not be with a mate where you both have the same strengths. That will cause conflict. You choose your partner based off of where you know you are weak. I do not like to cook. I am not going to be with a woman who does not like to cook. So therefore, it does not look like submission because she just naturally likes to cook. She doesn't like to take out the trash. It's nasty. I don't mind taking out the trash. It's not a submission. It is just what it is, right? Like, it doesn't feel like an order if it is naturally something that you like to do.
Yourself. Shut the fuck up.
That's the truth. That's the truth. It's shut the fuck up, but it's like you don't want to hear something when it's the truth. I don't have to go and tell a woman to do this or do that. Like, hey, why you ain't do this shit? Why you ain't do that? I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that because I don't choose women who I share the same strengths with. So therefore, they already just naturally do the things that they do. I'm not picking a woman who does those things, and they're not picking me for that. So it's not a submission. Y'all looking at submission as something as like, oh, I said she should do this, so she should. No, I don't want to. I'm not a dictator, and you shouldn't have to make a woman feel that way. Women don't have to submit to us if you just do what you're supposed to fucking do. And stop picking women who are weak. That's the problem that men have. Y'all, because you are weak yourself, you find weak women and then try to control that narrative. Been there, done that shit, grow the fuck up. That's it.
Okay.
That's my perspective.
All right. I love how you said you didn't need the 2 minutes and you did need them, Frank. You needed all of them and a little bit more.
You needed like an extra 30 seconds.
You could. I run a tight ship around here. Please do not come off your mic until I introduce you. I'm going to say it one last time. Also, I didn't let that dude up because I don't like him. Just so you know, mods. That's why I didn't. He sat there because I didn't like him. So, and he will not be back up. I didn't block him, but he can always request whenever he'd like. He is not welcome up here. One last person. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get you're good, Green. I'm trying to get a good panel up here. Beanbody, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompts. I'll give you 2 minutes and then we will immediately go into open panel, even if someone drops.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, girl. I think it's funny how men keep wanting for women to submit when we are the original creators enter the creation. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, look at history. We had the Trojan War. Why? Because of a woman. We had the Mongolian War, the Chinese War. Why? Because of government and women. It's always been about women. It's always been about trying to control the woman. And even look at right now, Afghanistan, I think that's the only country that's actually controlling women. And they still rebelling because nobody wants to be controlled. Like, they're fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but like, y'all literally came from our being. Y'all inferior to us. So we're never going to submit. That's ridiculous. Y'all should be submitting to us instead, in my opinion. But yeah, exactly. You cannot submit to something that you created. So that's all I can say.
That is my sentiment. I believe that all women are goddesses, and we here on earth are, I know that they say man was left in control, but we control children getting here. So I don't quite understand that sentiment, but let's open up the panel. I know that Kingdom was waiting to speak, Ronnie, and then Oksana, and I think Woki wanted to go too. So go ahead. I'm not gonna put timers on y'all. Manage yourselves. Please don't over talk. Go for it, Dina.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to start off with the young lady has said a keyword, control. And I feel like submission and control has been the words that's been thrown around and kind of like misunderstood. And I'm in a marriage, and I've been in a marriage for 12 years. Not that that matters.
Congratulations.
Yeah, not that that put me over anybody, but just being able to have a better understanding of it, being in my marriage. Submission is like a form of empathy. That's us both coming to each other and saying neither one of us are the only ones that matter. That means we both matter. That means your word is valid, my word is valid, your decision is valid, my decision is valid. So I feel like a lot of people that's having this thing where they're throwing the control word around, that leads to what I said at the beginning. A lot of women have gave submission to the wrong men. So that's why I feel like that control thing has been thrown around and misunderstood when it comes to what submission really is. It's a partner thing. It's a team thing. All of this goddess stuff and all of this women created all of this and that. It takes us both. So we might as well get out of this little war of saying women and this and all of that. It took us both. It takes a man to be able to put in woman to be able to create a child. The woman can't do it by herself. I don't care about what kind of technology that came out now to where you can get pregnant on your own and then simulate an egg and all of that nonsense. At the end of the day, it's still a man's sperm. So man and woman need each other. So it's like this little war that's going on. Let's cancel it and pay close attention to the people that's throwing that control word around and wanting to fight hard about it, because that means they won't even submit to the creator. And that's a scary thing to see somebody go that hard on saying that they don't want to submit to nobody or even try to partner with nobody, because it just shows like there's too much rebellion in it. And if you heard about a past situation where somebody did that, go get counseling. Go get counseling. Go seek whatever things that need to be fixed so you can be able to get a clear understanding of what submission even is. It's not a one-way thing. Just like the other lady said, it's the man and the woman submitting each other.
Well,
I
okay,
think the major
Kingdom, I do
issue
want to just
here.
say
Oh,
that
go on.
there isn't a fine line, it's a blurred line between control and submission. And if someone
Okay,
sees the
Wokey.
risk,
Okay, Wokey. Ronnie was supposed to go next.
my fault, sorry.
You're fine.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
School right. What y'all think is submission, y'all thinking about it wrong. And then also, I can't blame y'all all the way totally, because a lot of men think of submission as a way to like have a slave woman or something. Somebody need to cut that off.
That was me.
I got you, friend. You ain't got to worry about it. Go ahead.
So the whole thing about submission is that what he said, we submit to each other. Like, you think that we like watching them little romance movies, or we like going to the shopping with you and knowing that you're gonna give us a headache and stuff like that. Men submit a lot, and the little ways that we submit is unrecognized, and I think it should be paid attention to a little bit. But on the real aspect of it, how much time I got? But anyway,
Yeah, just be mindful. Other people are behind you. It's not necessarily. I will.
okay, so the real aspect of it is that men that genuinely love that woman, they're gonna listen to her. That's submission. A man listening to you. But if you have ill intentions and selfish intentions, the whole thing is going to go badly. And that's what women don't understand, because I think the way that they was raised to think that they're greater than us and we belong to each other equally, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna land my plane.
I think the major issue here, right, is this is an example of where submission can be very weakness, can be dangerous, right? You guys are trying to tell us we don't understand what it means, we don't get it. The definition was read out, right? And what you guys are doing, you're giving your own definitions of a word that already has a definition, and then telling us that we don't understand, right? So we'll go. So submission, cool. Literally from Oxford, right? An act or instance of submitting or yielding control to a more powerful or authoritative entity, right? And they so try to say that, that yield isn't like a bad word, right? Literally, it literally is, right? To give up or surrender, to give up to a superior power or authority, right? So again, this is the problem. You want women to submit, right? But can you imagine a woman submitting and the guy is just giving her definitions and no, you don't understand. And he's not even giving her the correct definitions of words. That's manipulation, right? By definition, right?
Yeah.
What you guys are trying to talk about, generally speaking, wouldn't be the definition. But don't gaslight women. Oh, you've been this and you've been taught this. No, we read the dictionary, right? When I'm with my husband, right, I just say, submit to me, right? I listen to him, he listens to me, right? Because you understand the ramifications of the definition of the word submission, right? You guys want to be leaders and women to submit to you, but I'm so sorry. What you've demonstrated is complete manipulation. You will make up definitions of words and tell the women that they don't understand.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Take it on. Wilkie, what's up? Thank you for
Well, I
waiting.
think
I appreciate it.
I think a lot of people, a lot of men, they, from what previously was said, they said, "Oh, hey, you don't understand it." I think women do understand it a little bit more because there's risks to take. Because, like I said, submission. There's a blurred line between submission and control. And what it looks like in a relationship is maybe you could yield to certain things, but if someone's constantly yielding their own will, that could lead to more of a control. So that's a very blurred line in which you guys are ignoring that someone can see the risks of, hey, this is a blurred line. I don't really want to take those risks and be put in a terrible situation. Because yeah, you can, find your perfect partner. But the thing is, like you guys are saying, women should naturally be able to do this, but you should not be submitting to anyone, like the first person you see. Like if that is not like a normal thing, like your first boyfriend is not going to be the best boyfriend ever. Like that's not going to be some people can find their lifelong partner the first time, but like you're telling these women like, hey, you should just be naturally doing this and there's no risk at all. But women
I'm
are
sorry,
put in
sons.
danger.
She seemed like
But women
she's a
can be put
feminist.
in danger.
Excuse me. Wilkie was speaking and she waited very patiently. And when she thought it was her turn to go, she stopped. So I don't understand why you wouldn't give her that same respect. Wilkie, could you please continue? Thank you so much. Cleopatra is going to go and then you can go after Ronnie. Go ahead, Wilkie. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. There are risks in which men don't really accept when women say, hey, this is risky for a woman to do. Let's say someone submits in a relationship that could lead to AB. Like there are risks. And if someone doesn't want to take that risk and they want to exert their own will, which is a normal thing, people normally want to exert their own will, and yielding, you guys act like it's natural for someone to yield their own will. That is not natural. Like these traits are individual. Someone can want to do that, but expecting an entire gender to just naturally want to submit their own will, everyone has a will. That's what makes you conscious. So telling someone, hey, you can't exert your own will, that you're saying, oh, I know you guys are saying, oh, you're willingly submitting your own will, but I don't think that's really, if your will is to do something else and you're telling someone they naturally don't want to do that, that's not will. If your will is the opposite of what someone wants, and you're doing the opposite of what you want, that's not your will. So you're doing something you don't want to do.
I like that. I like that a lot. Go ahead, Cleopatra. Then we'll go to Ronnie. Mod break, because Green, if you're available to come back up, please come back up, sister. Let's go ahead and tap the screen. I wanted to get to 5K, and we are not at 5K. So can we please get there? Then can you also send your heart me's, follow the host me, and gift the panel. You don't have to worry about gifting me. Alrighty, go ahead, Cleopatra. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh, I just wanted to right quick before I go to dinner.
My bad.
Um, when they're having these comments, I always say men and women, they mean something completely different. It's like when they made that saying women are from Venus and men are from Mars, it is 100% true. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna even take it back to when women, were the property of men, and their fathers used to sell them into marriage. I always say a father is a woman's first pimp because they used to sell them into marriage and stuff, and they used to. Women didn't have a choice in getting married at all for the longest time. Women had no autonomy. They were under the rule of men totally and completely. And this is why women are very apprehensive about being in relationships with men in any kind of way. When it comes to marriage and these so-called romantic relationships in the first place, women just know we have to be careful with men. We know we got to be careful with what kind of man that we entertain in that regard to marriage and stuff like that, because men have a completely different vision for women in their lives. Men don't what men want a lot of time from women in that position is something completely different than what that woman wants, in that role, in that dynamic with men. So we just speak two completely different languages, and you can hear it when men talk about submission. You can hear it when men talk about respect. We are like, what? It's like she said earlier, because when ask a man when he talk about respect, within that dynamic, what do you mean? What's your definition? You have to ask them what their definition is of a word. Just like she pointed out earlier, submit has a definition. It's in the dictionary. This is what it means. If that is not what you mean, you need to find a word for what you mean, right? You need to find the proper word for what you mean, because all words have meanings. And if you ask them, I always ask them, because you have to ask them their version of a word. What do you mean when you say respect? What's your definition? And it looks a lot like do what I say. That's what a lot of men mean when they say respect. And when they say the woman disrespectful, you ask them, well, how? What happened? And you will hear it's simply she didn't do what he say. She didn't agree with him. That's what they mean. So when women are dealing with men, women just have to be absolutely careful. This is why when a man has daughters, he teaches daughters how dangerous men are. My dad, my uncle, they all taught us that men are dangerous, strange men. When they would tell us about weapons and defending ourselves and protecting ourselves, it was always because men, because this is for men. They don't want you around men. They don't want you, if you don't know men. Every woman growing up has heard all the speeches about men and how dangerous they are. So we know that we have to be careful when it comes to men. And that's all I wanted to say.
Absolutely. I know Ronnie wanted to go, and then I also know that Wilkie wanted to go. Then I have a question for the gentleman on the panel. But you want to go too, Bean? All right, so it's gonna go Ronnie,
That's
Wilkie,
okay.
then
That's
Bean.
okay. Let her go.
Oh, you want the ladies to go first?
Yes, let the lady go.
Such a gentleman. All right, so we're gonna go Wilkie, Bean, then Ronnie.
I believe a lot. Thank you. I believe a lot. Fundamentally, I think some men forget that women have authority within certain fields. And within a relationship, authority within a relationship is not really it doesn't seem like a normal thing. So like just like how Kingdom was saying, like, hey, we submit to different things, but that is within your partnership. So you have to talk to your partner about like where someone's strength is. So saying that this submission should be the default, that's not normal. You should talk to your partner, hey, this is my strength, this is what I do, this is what I want, this is the lifestyle I want. And you should be able to communicate that. But saying that, hey, this is what you should be submitting all around. No, that's idealized. That's a fantasy that you guys are selling, because women do have authority within certain fields, but I think a lot of men that keep saying submission, they forget that women even have authority and they don't allow that to happen.
I love that take. I wrote that down. Yeah, I don't think that it's like automatic, and a lot of men think it's automatic. Bean, I'll go ahead and let you go, and then Ronnie, you go, and then I'll introduce Nacho. Go ahead.
is that men, I think men generally, they tend to want to ignore the negative connotation of submission, which is regarding somebody higher as you, in higher position. It's almost like they want women to see them as gods. And I don't think that's fair, you know? I think that men in general, they forget.
You went out. I think your service is nervous, baby.
I'm sorry. I keep getting
Did you get a call?
about it.
No, you're fine.
But the point is that back in the days when there was no society, right? When there was literally no society, we were hunters and gatherers. You know, a lot of people like to talk about the first weapons, you know, the arrow and bow and whatever, but they never credit the fact that women did the first, how you call it? We used to wrap our babies in order for survival, for them to survive. You understand? So it's like men forget all of that. They just think, oh, women are supposed to be submissive because it's something in between their legs. No, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for women. We didn't have that mentality that men were protectors or that men needed to protect. No, women had to be the ones that carried those children and made sure that they survived back in those days when there was no society. So I personally, I'm not saying that like submission is all bad. I'm engaged. I like to submit. You know, there's time that submission is needed, but when it comes to like submission, where it's like, oh, I'm holier than you, like not even God is asking that out of people. Not even in the Bible they say that. God says, love me, and love is free. Like is something that you gotta do freely. You cannot submit to God because that's not true love. And that's what I would say to men, honestly.
So good. I like that. I like that. Ronnie, go ahead, and then we'll introduce our new panelists.
Okay. I just heard her, and I heard what's her name over here? I'm having trouble looking. Oh, Kasama or something like that, right?
Oh,
And the one that left
excuse me.
had the most to say, right? And I actually was interested in her because I think she's full of strength. That something important to me. I just thought that maybe we should converse. But at the same token, I want y'all ladies to understand something. Men in this world that orchestrate everything to be the way it is discounted you and discounted your power. I didn't. I never did. So I'm looking at the names. What's her name? Start with a B. Forgive me, even though I got my reading glasses on. What is that? Beat Body?
Hold on one second.
Yeah, the lady up there.
Bean. Just say whatever you can see.
Okay, so her and the one that's called OK.
Oksana.
Yeah, Oksana.
Is there a reason why you're wanting to address them directly? Because I will say,
because I feel like they understand something. I feel like they understand something that I understand, that the men that dictate and run the world done push them and shove them into a corner to the point where they feel like the power is nothing, and y'all's power means absolutely everything to me. I can't exist without your power. So I think that we need to understand the dynamics of that and try to come back together. And if that makes sense, and I'm gonna land my plane.
That is the best thing you have said yet, friend. I like that. That's my sentiments. Nacho, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the panel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompts. I'll give you 2 minutes. You there? Going once, going twice.
Oh, I thought you was talking to me.
McFly.
Yep. All right, I'll come back to you, Nacho. McFly, welcome. Thank you so much for joining.
What's going on?
I'd love to hear your
Submission is power, and it's not a weakness. See, what a lot of women forget that by being feminine is your superpower. I promise you that all of y'all women that's on the panel and even listening have seen a woman dressed down like this. She be looking proper, and you yourself as a woman would open the door for her. Why is that? Right? Because she has this feminine power about her that'll make you even say, "Damn, yeah, chick, yeah, I'll open the door for you." Same way that men would, you know. See,
I'm probably
you're
I'm
super.
gonna move around a little bit, but I'm out here.
I'm speaking, but your submission is your superpower. Submission does not mean weakness, right? Because we're supposed to submit to the Lord, right? So does that mean that you're weak because you got to submit to the Lord? That doesn't make you weak. That makes you that you know what direction that you're supposed to go in life. And if you do not have a direction, then you go nowhere, right? Your submission means that you have an idea in your mind of where you want to be in the future. You can continue to walk around here and have no guidance, but then you'll end up being like, let's say, some of these men that's not having a wife, and you'll be one of these women that's out here that don't got no wife, no kids, no family, no legacy. You're just the chop off the tree, your family tree, right? You're just somebody that's just off of your family tree because you just felt like one day being what you're supposed to be was offensive to you. And I land my plane.
Thank you so much. Nacho, I'm going to give you one more chance. Are you here with me?
Yeah.
You are. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to go ahead and
I'm just, I'm a listener, so I like to, listen before I
take
speak.
everything in.
I was here
Yeah.
earlier, but I had to go because I had to leave. You don't remember I was here on a panel earlier about the same subject.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're back on the same thing about
Yep.
submission.
So is submission power or weakness? I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and
That's fine.
then we're going to go to Praline.
That's fine. My opinion, I'm going to say my opinion because we all have opinions. We don't have definite proof. We have definitions of it. But submission to me is when you get aligned with somebody and you give them that direct, I can't even come up with a word, but meaning like it's not something of having power over someone. It's saying, hey, I want you to take control. You're my man. Or, hey, sometimes it's vice versa. I've seen it happen. But I would say what I was saying earlier was a man mostly gets like a man mostly gets like the blame when something doesn't go on. Like if he's supposed to lead, because I'm trying to use the right words. If he's supposed to lead and things go wrong, and he says to his girl, and submission is not just on a relationship with girl or what, it's more so of a marriage. Because if you're dating, that you don't have to submit. You're dating. That's a whole different ball game of being a fiance, being married. Because when you get married, you become one. So at some point you have to submit because you become one. You have to change some of your ways. So at dating, I wouldn't say submit. And if you don't want to submit, that's fine. That's how I feel. But once you come one is a marriage, there's some form of submission that has to happen because you become one. You have to change some of your ways. So you can't be stuck in your ways, say, okay, no, I'm doing me. You can't do that. And then as a man, as a protector, as we come across as a protector, we gonna be like, hey, you trying to be in the front and try to make sure, not saying you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you need to do that, but more so as a protector. So I think I could land my plane right there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. All right, Perry. Thank you so much for joining. It's so nice to see your face here.
So nice to see you live, friend.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you. All right.
Walk up when I'm on. Okay.
Tell me your thoughts on the prompts. Is submission power or weakness? We do 2 minutes and then we'll go to open panel. I think I'll chill here right now.
Okay. So here's the thing. Submission has a definition. It is yielding to a higher authority than yourself, right? In the very definition of it, you cannot be in power. We are strictly, we're not talking about in the KINK space, because there's a couple of people doing that down in the comments. We're not talking about that. We're talking in the bounds of a relationship. You should not be submitting to anyone, because a lot of the times people say, oh, well, you know, my partner is submissive, but also, and comma, when they say like, oh, well, you know, she leads from the back, well, then that's not submissiveness. Like, if she's leading from behind, she's not being submissive. Or, you know, they use that submission and femininity are on the same wave, and then they use that to say like women are being sneaky, or women are being underhanded, or women are, you know, backbitey, backstabby, backsteely. Like, all of those things tend to get wound into something that has a very, very actual meaning, right? It's the same with it has led to and lumped in a lot of women having to be the way that, being sneaky, being subversive, being backbitey, backstabby, backsteely to survive, and them saying, oh, well, you know, but she was doing it for the sake of her husband. She was doing it to hold on to some power in her relationship. She was doing it for this, blah, 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 blah. But, like, no, you as a full, self-actualized, autonomous human being, you don't need a leader. That's weird. Okay? I don't need anyone to lead me. I'm a grown person. I've also, like, let's call a thing. Most black women are, like, the head of household because it's an IRS tax thing. So how are you the leader, but I'm the head of the household? Like, you know, black people. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna land on that.
Make it make sense. How am I the head of household on paper, but I'm submitting?
Can I make that make sense?
Is everybody? Yeah. I think a couple of the ladies wanted to go. I missed you all. I know that I saw Oksana and Woki.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. Y'all two go. Then,
who was it that
you can
said
go.
that they wanted to explain? Who said that?
That was McFly.
Ladies, let's let him explain that. Just go ahead.
Wait. Before he does that, I do want to address what not Kingdom. Someone else said that he made one point that, oh, you aren't feminine if you don't submit. One, why do you think submission is solely a feminine trait and women should have?
That's where I was gonna go. Yep, you're right. You're right. Go ahead and hit him.
And two, what was he's also said, if you are feminine, you are powerful. Why do you think that if someone doesn't express their femininity because they don't really want to, does that make them unpowerful? Why do you think that someone is only powerful if they express like certain traits? Like, oh, if you don't wear pretty color, if you don't wear dresses and stuff, you aren't feminine, so that doesn't make you powerful.
They've never heard of the word sigma.
A lot of these traits that you associate with femininity are arbitrary, and these traits femininity isn't defined by like, submission, these things. I can never find someone that has the exact same definition of femininity because it's arbitrary, because these people don't have the same definition of femininity. So you can't say you aren't powerful if you aren't feminine, if you have a different definition of femininity.
Yes, pick it up. And King, what do you mean get counselling? This is the issue, right? You know, you want women to submit, to let you lead. But unfortunately, I would say a lot of you guys, not that you're like incompetent, because there's no way you don't know there are definitions of words, right? But it's
words
kind
mean
of
something,
like,
though.
yeah, but it's kind of like they want to just be able to gaslight women, right?
Or women gaslighting women.
Oh dear.
Okay. Before we go there, I'm gonna be honest. Before we go there, I have a new panelist. Is it X Hero? Is that how we say it? It's an interesting name. Are you here with me, friend? I'm gonna invite you to turn. Did I mute you again? If I did, I'm sorry. But could you come off mute? I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompt. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and then we'll go back to address what McFly said.
Copy. I think submission is power because to be submissive, you have to act with an element of safety involved. Like that invites something in. What people conflate with submission is subjugation, and that's not the same thing. That's where somebody's subject to somebody else's whims. True submission comes from the ability to be safe inside of an action where they can let the entirety of who they are go. And in that way, male submission, masculine submission, and feminine submission are the same thing. They just have different priorities. And it's not gendered. It's just a different version of energy that is something that everyone embodies. And again, to be truly submissive is to feel safe and to feel wanted and to feel like you're not going to be punished for whatever version that you give, because what is valued is your presence.
I think he and Homegirl at the top had hit some subjects that I was trying to get into before I was able to speak, because it's like the male submits to the woman too. If I gotta bring home the bacon, if I gotta be the one that might get pumed if something happened, I'm submitting to you and my family. You can submit on some part of something. For you to sit there and say that you can't submit on this when I have to be the one to go out there and take care of this household, and you don't want to work and you want to sit home, what are you going to do in order to keep this, right? What are you going to do your part of the thing? And you say that you can't submit. I think that's an unfair deal. And then we should just go ahead and be passport bros if you don't want to submit, right? Come on.
Ladies.
I'm just being honest.
Okay, so, please go be passport bros. Please.
No. Okay.
Please be passport bros. One, I don't like the transaction. And I also don't like the analogy of, if an intruder comes in, you're going to be the one to defend our home. Let's be very real about this. I know how to use a firearm and you know how to use a firearm. The reality is whoever gets to it first is shooting. Come on. And I really don't like that. We've seen it and we know that's how it works. We both are trained adults in this home, protecting our home. If someone bursts in and I'm the closest to the pew and you're the closest to the door, either I'm passing it to you or I'm taking the pew.
But don't you think that you would be out of line? Your job as a woman should be able to protect the kids.
That's the thing. You keep saying job, bro. You keep saying job. You keep adding these transactional elements to affection that don't fucking matter.
Well, then obviously you guys been grown up by women and not had men in your life, because you're you're going with a female thought. You're thinking like women.
I think we're mixing equality with submission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we mixed those words.
No. I'm not mixing equality with submission.
Absolutely. We both have equality.
I'm saying when we talk about gender roles, and I don't enjoy when we use I'm going to protect. This is 2026. We are not living in a cave, and there are not bears coming after us. We live in a home. We live hopefully in a nice community, hopefully with a security system. If something goes clink clink at night, I promise you I'm right behind my partner. Our children are safe. If you are doing,
how would a kid say
you just said you're right behind your partner?
How can that?
Whoa, okay. I thought this was my panel. Okay.
Yeah, but whatever.
No,
sound crazy.
we're not gonna overtalk me here. We're not gonna overtalk me here. I listened to what you said and I had a rebuttal for what you said, and what you said made no sense. And I wanted to point out to you how it made no sense. This is no longer the 50s. This is no longer ancient times. This is now. And now both of us can be trained on said firearm, as we should be if it's in the home, and we can both protect our family. That's not
So
just
then you would support a man. He can live on. You would support a man while he's just laying in the bed for like 6 or 7 months. You being that a man would do that for you, being that it's equal 2026, right? You don't have to have that man get up and go to work the same way that you can lay in the bed and take care of the kids. He can sit home and take care of the kids all day, and you'll be perfectly fine with that.
McFly, the issue is McFly, right? You framed looking after your family, right? Bear in mind, the family that, you want, your kids, your wife, as submission. It's not submission, right? Because obviously,
It's a duty.
biologically, hold on, biologically, right? You want to have kids, you want to have a wife because that's what looks good socially, right? You're not submitting to your wife and your kids. Are you submitting to your kids because you feed them and you house them?
It's
No,
a
right?
duty.
Hold on,
It's
no,
a duty.
it's not
Nah,
submission.
don't say duty. Don't say duty.
That is not submission, right? And then you say, well, again, all these random, like the average married couple in America, right? Both parties work. You guys need to stop coming up with these, the minority case where, the woman just stays at home and whatnot. Let's talk about what happens in general. Right? In general,
It
the woman
doesn't
is
matter
also
what
working.
happens in
It
general
does
because
matter.
the women
It does stop.
the
It does
women
matter.
leaves 80% of the
It doesn't.
time.
It does matter what happens in
If the
general.
women leaves 80% of the time,
Stop
then what are we talking
pivoting.
about?
Your
It's
entire
not the
premise
pivot.
is it is a pivot. Your entire premise is based on a single income family, where we know in general that's not the case. So let's talk about in general, right? You framed looking after your family and your kids, feeding them as submission, right? I said, oh well, what's the woman gonna do? In general, the woman is also probably working. So
That's fine. If the woman's working, that's fine.
okay, cool. So, but then was she framed as submitting to her? No, that's not submission. Having a
That's not
job and paying
submission.
bills isn't submission. Let
Can I
fly.
answer?
That's submission. That's submission in its very
Alright, hold on.
foundation.
Hold on. So I want Braylee to go. Okay, goodness great. Why am I adding an L in your name today? I literally know your name. Prairie, I'm so sorry. I want Prairie to go because she's been actually trying to get in for a while and she's been really kind. But I do have 3 new panelists after, and then we'll open back up. Prairie, go ahead. You have the floor.
Thank you. One, what you described was not submitting to your family. One, like Oksana said, you're talking about an extreme minority of people. Most people cannot afford to have a stay-at-home wife. Most. That's not a, that's not a dig at anyone. That's simply the way that the world is set up. 2, you are just talking about the way that it's set up. The patriarchy set up that you will go out and you will provide. You do not eat because you did not work. And that goes for men and women. Most couples, most families have 2 working parents. Okay? Even if a parent is short term staying at home with their kids, it's not something that's going to last long term. Max, you're going to have 2 or 3 years because you can't afford daycare, and that's fine and normal. But that lady or that man is not sitting on the couch all day or laying in the bed all day. That's not what's happening. Like, if they're staying on the couch all day long and like the kids are out running around, please don't interrupt me. I was very, very. Please go on mute. Don't interrupt me. Also, let's be clear. Again, we are not talking about sexual submission. We're not talking about the KINK space. That's a completely different conversation. Okay? That is a completely different conversation. If you were to say, hey, we're talking about sexual submission, yes, there are powers in that. Absolutely. We're not. We're talking about in a regular couple, a regular vanilla 2 people who are entering this of their own free will and wanting to be each other and touch their naughty bits together because they like each other couple, okay? And want to build something out of that couple, okay? There is absolutely 0 reason for a self-actualized human being to submit to another one. Men, You submit to the patriarchy. Women, they submit to the patriarchy. But then also you want us to come home and not me, but you want your woman to come home and to submit to you. No. So she's getting double the doo-doo? Okay. Then we talk about why there's an 80% of women coming and saying, you know what? This isn't worth it. I have to do all of the things and take care of King Baby and take care of King Baby's big-headed crumb-snatching children. And what does she get on the other end of that? You're not a viable partner. You're not a help in the house. Like, that's the reality. Also, and most, like, again, oh, well, we protect the house. That happens, like, what is it, 2%? And if someone is breaking in the house while you're there, overwhelmingly it's because they're after you. They wanted you there. Most people who are breaking into your house are breaking in when people are at work, and they've watched it long enough to know that people aren't there because it's safer for them to do so and safer for you to do so. Most folks are trying to hit a lick. They're not trying to, commit murder. Again, most of the time, the successful ones that does happen is because a husband is being backed up by his wife. Kids get hidden, and then you take a two-man point. You drill this. Our family drills this. We drill this. This is a normal thing. But a two-person point is actually safer. You guys have gout, hypertension, and, back issues. Realistically, you're not running single-man drills. You're not. We are competitive pew-pewers in our family. My mom is senior women's revolver. My kid is tree pew-pewer. I'm a long distance and I'm a tree pew-pewer. Let's have the conversation that, people who drill this, we want a 2 or 3 person drill. So, that's just not real for you to go out there, you're gonna run up, get pew-pewed, and then now your kids and your wife is open and susceptible to being raped until they're unalived. That's what you're talking about, bud. Okay?
That's
Okay.
what
Let me
they
jump in
say.
right quick
That's
for a
what they
second.
say.
Can I just
He who
say I
finds a
love
wife
your
finds a good thing.
No,
He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Can I?
I'm talking. No.
Yeah, y'all corny.
McFly, you're getting on my nerves, if I'm very honest. I told everyone, I like to tell people what's going to happen, and I told you what's going to happen. Thank you. We're going to go to new panelists.
No. Why? Who dropped him? Come back here.
Yeah, come back, friend. I didn't say you had to leave. I just need you to be reasonable. I'm actually going to, Prosperity, if you want to come up, you can definitely come up. I'm waiting on somebody, y'all. That's why I need that spot. Oh, goodness gracious. I just said I need that spot, y'all.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was me.
Yo, what's going
I
on?
could drop for whoever wants to come up.
What it do?
Maybe you didn't hear the rules. Please don't come off mute until I introduce you. You're third in line to speak. Ours, Melly. Hi, my ladies.
Hi.
Good to see you both. Hey. These are my mods, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna go Ours, and then we're gonna go Melly, and then we'll go to Blue. I'm gonna give you each 2 minutes, and then.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say I love your descriptions and the words that you use. It really just does something for me when people are able to articulate themselves that way. Anyways, as for the prompt, is submission power or weakness? It's definitely power if you know how to use it. For anyone that's read a book, any book, Laws of Power, I might say, it's one of the top 5, but you just know how, you have to understand how to use it, right? Because submission can be optically, which is how we usually get you dodos to do what we need you to do. Now, as far as what the gentleman was saying about duty and all those other things, okay, part of the reason why I agree with the women and they shouldn't submit to you guys, because you have to submit to head of household. You do not meet the prerequisites to be head of household, sir. If you need her paycheck to live where you live, then you are not the head of household. You are merely a glorified roommate, which is what you women should definitely introduce them as. Now, If you do not need her paycheck and are able to provide a life, then we can have a different conversation. But even in that case, submission does not just mean that what you say and how you say and how you want things is the way that it goes. You again have to meet the prerequisites of a leader. You have to be able to articulate yourself and have the skill set to do that. You don't just get to do that because you have something hanging between your legs. Most men are not leaders. I don't know if you guys don't realize this, but if you want a really good example, just look at men in another group of men. There is an alpha, which makes the rest of you guys what? I'll land there.
So well said. Always, always a pleasure, ours. Melly, and then we have Blue. Did you not hear the order?
I ain't say nothing.
You came off mute. Okay, Melly, go ahead. Welcome, sister. So glad you could join.
Hey, friend.
Hey, I can't
Oh,
wait
I'm
to
so
hear
good
your thoughts.
glad to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Look, I just wanted to say one quick thing. The gentleman that was talking about getting pew-pewed or providing, that's protecting and providing, sir. That's not submitting at all. I just had to say that. And also the gentleman that was saying it's not to say duty over, like it's their duty to take care of their children. Sir, yes it is. It's your duty to take care of your family and the seed that you made. So absolutely. That's all I had to say.
I knew it was gonna be short and sweet. I knew it. Melly doesn't come up much. Okay, so from what I remember, it's gonna be Blue, and then it's gonna be Bossy, and then Prosperity. Alrighty. Go ahead, Blue. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate your patience. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompt. Hi, Charles.
All right, how you doing? How's everybody doing in the room? You know what I mean? I'm gonna go with that first. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Is submission power or weakness? To be honest with you, submission is actually power. You get what I'm saying? If you use it right, you actually still are going. All right, so it's an old saying that say you get more honey with bees than flies or something like that. It goes something like that. But basically the premise is, what are you really trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve somebody that is going to be continuously combative with you, or are you trying to achieve somebody that's willing to run through the brick wall for you? So I don't understand how women don't know that when you put a battery in somebody's back, they'll defend you when you're wrong. They will defend you regardless of the situation. They will just defend you. But it's coming to a point where like men and women are getting so used to arguing that they're bumping heads. And what y'all fail to realize as a gender, it's no race intended, none of that. But it's just that if you are combative all the time, how are you going to be doing anything constructive? Now, this is the thing. You can give a better scenario, and guess what? 9 times out of 10, the mind might go with your scenario. If you are offering something that's going to benefit the both of us, especially if we make an individual understanding that we are going to be one as far as a team. See, it's nothing worse than being on a team, but everybody playing I. It's no I in team. If this is not meant to make both of us money, then how are your your suggestions going to be beneficial if we can't understand that whatever I bring in, it's going to be for the both of us? So if you willing to do that and give me, look, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm not good with a computer. I'm a blue collar dude. I told my wife about drop shipping before she even knew about it. I said, I guarantee you, if you look into it, it's something that sounds like it'll work. But at the end of the day, I don't know how to do it because I'm not a computer individual. But I have the money to invest in it. Her lack of wanting to actually look into it or say that, oh, that's a scam or something before you even attempt to try it, Boom. At the end of the day, that idea was shut down. I don't have the time in the day to be on a computer. She works from remote home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you could look into that while you already on a computer and you can look more and further into it and you get the logistics of it, then guess what? I'm gonna be your biggest investor. But the fact that she didn't want to look into it, that's not my fault. That's her fault. I'm telling her what I can do as far as being a husband, and she's saying that, oh, it don't seem like it's beneficial. You can have whatever idea on it what you want, but it ain't even your money that's going to be invested in the first place. So why does it matter? Because I'm willing to take a loss on us just trying to get a game. You get what I'm saying? But everybody not built like that, and I had to come to the understanding that everybody's not built like that. Everybody can't understand certain things of that nature. And I land my plane, but I think submission is a power, because I'm not going to tell you what to do. At the end of the day, whatever makes sense, makes sense. If I get off earlier than you, guess what? I ain't got no problem with making some food. We all going to eat at the end of the day. But guess what? Now I'm working this job where we doing 4 12s and 2 10s. It make more sense for me to go to work and you figure out the logistics of everything else. You get what I'm saying?
I do. Just so everyone knows, it is a hand heart to mute, galaxy to drop. Top 4 spots are protected. Yeah, you can't drop them, but everyone else is fair game. Alrighty, and then we have Prosperity. Go for it, Prosperity. Welcome. It's so exciting to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Hey, love. I didn't even know you was going live, but I'm glad I found you.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
of course.
Can everybody tap the screen, please? We are 18.8K. Please tap the screen and grab your daily heartbeat. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
So I really want to just talk about what I've been hearing. Okay, so first of all, let me ask you a problem. Is submission power or weakness? By definition of the word, it is weakness. Literally, giving over your will to someone else is the epitome of being a weakness. Because what you're doing is you're giving them your power, you're giving them your will,
That's true.
you're giving them your everything. So by definition of the word, it's absolutely a weakness. Okay. So now we're gonna go into some of the things that I heard. So say, well, if you know how to use it right and this, that is performative submission. And it's equal to manipulation. And the fact that men are you're so willing to receive that is crazy to me. And the reason why it's crazy to me is because you're literally being manipulated, right? You're being manipulated, and because your ego loves it so much, you can't even recognize that you're being manipulated. And this is one of the reasons why it's so easy for a woman to divorce you when you mess up. Well, because she was performing most times. And so we get off into these things, and it's basically just your ego being fed. But as long as she feeding your ego, you cool, right? But then you never really look into that. Does she really love me? Does she go along with me because she trusts me? Or is it that she's just trying to get what she wants? And trust me, we can manipulate something, baby. We the best manipulators. If we really want to manipulate something, you're gonna be manipulated. But you all are fine with that. And I think that's a problem. And the whole battery on his back and stuff, it's just ego. But when you rather have somebody who loves you enough to partner with you and to say, hey, let's do this together. You ain't submitting, I'm not submitting, which means you're not in an authority situation. You're not in the authority position. And we just love each other, work together. You listen to me, I listen to you. You go to the movies and see movies you don't want to see with me, and I go with you. That's called partnership. It's not submission. So I don't know. This whole conversation, I think that it's just ridiculous. But I'm going to go on mute and listen to the rest. But that was all I had to say real quick. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I know we have Bossy and Locke just joined. Same rules, y'all. If you want to mute, because we're going to go to open panel after they go. And I'm going to keep this panel for a little bit. I'll switch out after a little bit, but I want the conversation to flourish. Bossy, thank you so much for joining. Welcome back, girl. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompt.
Um, so I think it's a little bit of both. Yes, it can be a weakness to the highest degree, especially if you have the wrong partner. Let's say you're submissive to somebody that's on METH, you're gonna go down the bad path. But if you're submitted to somebody who cares about your well being, cares about your future, cares more about you than they care about themselves, then 9 times out of 10, you're putting yourself in a good predicament. But I suggest you be with somebody that loves and cares and respects you, like they love and care about themselves and respect themselves, or else you're submitting to somebody that is worshiping the DEVIL instead of worshiping somebody that's part of God's creation. God put somebody here for us to be loved. So if you pick the right person, I don't think submission is a bad thing. It's a bad thing when you're being cheated on and you're still being submissive. It's bad when you're being verbally abused and you're still being submissive. I think there's different things that make submission a bad thing, but I don't see it as a bad thing.
I like that. I like that a lot. Kyla, welcome. Thank you so much for joining.
For
You
sure.
need 2 minutes or you
After
need 3 minutes on the prompt?
2 is just fine. After I speak, I'm actually get my spot up. I seen it was 3 waiting, but
No, it's fine.
okay.
The top 4 spots are protected. That's why I put you up there.
Okay, cool. So, it's actually a power because if you understood men, you understand that if there's more so like cohesiveness between you and your male partner, and also, you doing the natural thing of kind of like having that soft energy with your man that makes him, you know, it literally taps into a different side of a man. So I understand what some women may feel like it's a weakness because it feels like it's not a, free will. I mean, but the thing is, what man is literally marrying a woman to make her walk around and say, hey, sit, go make my plate? Like, no real man really wants to be with a woman that's gonna be compliant to every single thing that we ask for. But as far as submission goes, we're just asking that, you make it easier for us to coexist with you, to make it easier for us to carry out our duties as a man, as a husband as well. So, and if, like I said, if you know a man, bro, like literally your submission to a man could literally make a man do anything. Literally, like literally anything. But I'll land there.
That's why I say they don't be knowing. They know the power. They got the power. But you just,
Friend, you're struggling with my rules, and it's okay.
oh, my bad. I ain't hearing. My bad.
No,
Let me get on mute. My bad.
I have, it's a little strict around here, just a little. I like to go in order, and if you can't see in the comments, there's lots of hands. Prairie was going to go, and I believe I saw someone else's hand, Oksana. So then you can go after them, and we're not doing time. So, be mindful that people are behind you, but I want an open panel. Go ahead and share. Prairie, you're kicking off open panel.
Thank you. I'm gonna give pushback. Because again, when you're talking about like there's no man that wants, there's lots of men that want that. There's lots of men that want that. I will point you in the direction of Navi, the author. Oh, yeah, you came on cam, friend.
You look good, girl. You look good.
To Navi, the author, Robbins. He's a wonderful man. He grew up in the Nation of Islam, and then he grew up a Hebrew Israelite. And literally, that's the entire, grew up, traveled the world as a Hebrew Israelite, right? That's literally the entirety of what they want out of women. I know men of all kinds of communities that essentially want a child that they can put their penis inside of in a grown woman's body, or a faithful and loyal lap dog, okay? That's the basis of what submission is. Submission is yielding to someone who has authority over you. Now, we're not talking about, even in the biblical submission, and I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to. Most of those women were in a position where they were deeply, like the power dynamic between them and their husband was off the charts. Okay? If you understand that, like, hey, the culture is that, like, you do what your husband says or he starves you and your children, and he, elevates his concubine over you and his concubine's children over you, that's kind of, it puts you in a weird power. Again, all of the things and the ways that you guys are describing, oh, she's going to submit because of this. Yeah, you're telling her to be manipulative to you. You're telling her to be sneaky and subversive to you. You're telling her to use that she feels like you're probably not as bright as her, in some way, whether it be emotionally, whether she has better communication with your family or the neighbors or whatever, to put you in a box, because that's what it is doing to you. It is putting you into a box that you are going to find really hard to get out of. That she's going, yeah, you come in and you pay all the bills, but you don't know how the house is run. Yeah, you come in, you pay all the bills, but when she passes away, because again, married women tend to live shorter lives, single women tend to live longer. So she passes away and you are lost in that relationship. You're lost outside of that relationship. In submission, and we're talking again strictly in a relationship between two consenting adults, there is no need for submission. You are talking about coordination, cooperation, and partnership. And most folks, a lot of guys, y'all just want to be the leader and the head and the king and all of the things on paper. Like, you want to be able to say, yeah, man, I rule the roost in here.
Hey,
But
can
in
I ask you a
reality,
question?
no, you cannot while I'm talking.
My
That's
bad.
so
I just wanted to ask you a question.
No,
You can ask me as
no.
soon as I'm done, and I'm going to land in
One more
about 3
strike,
words.
one more
My bad.
strike, and
My
they're gonna
bad,
drop
host.
one
I
more
just
strike,
wanted to
and they're
engage in
gonna drop
conversation.
you. They're gonna
My
drop you.
bad. My bad.
No offense, it's not a
I'm gonna
conversation.
end on
She's
this.
explaining her side.
It is thank you, ma'am. It is yielding to the authority of someone over you. That's all submission is. Now, if you want to say, hey, on paper, I'm all of these things, but in reality, I want cooperation, I want a partner, and I want coordination, that's what you actually want. And that's okay. Just say that. Because the weight of being a leader is real hard. It's very, very heavy, and no one actually wants you around for very long. That's the other side of that. 80% of women are getting rid of their husbands because outside of you being a leader, you're not a partner. You're not a friend. You're not a lover because you're not a lover. You're not a parent. You're just another body who pays bills in the house. Man, you could go live out in the shed for all that is. I land. And no, submission is not part of coordination. It's not true.
I'm noticing some conflation of some definitions. I think we are blurring the lines a little bit more than necessary. I can see both. And so just so everyone knows, Gravity, my mod, came up with this prompt. We thought it would be really interesting, and I think it's a great conversation so far. Gravity, that's why he goes hard in the comments anytime, but that's why he's really fighting for this one, because it was his idea, and I want to give credit to where credit is due. Oksana, go ahead, and then Blue, I will get to you, and Prosperity, you will follow.
Thank you. Yeah, very, like, 100% correct. And I don't think you guys understand, like, as you pointed out, you're just saying that women should manipulate you, right? But here's the problem. Over time, right? Because remember, as I said, not every man is like, the most competent and just smarter than women, right? But a woman will say, okay, yeah, you're correct. Right, sure, cool. But over time, can you imagine how it's going to feel when this individual who is wrong a lot of the time, right, is trying to talk down to you as if you're some idiot child? Over time, that gets, like, psychologically exhausting, right? It just gets exhausting. And what you guys are describing, you want submission, but then you're describing some sort of partnership. You're saying that, oh, she's gonna, be leading this and the third, but she's gonna be beneath you. It's like, why do you view women essentially as children, right? Because you want children to submit because, you know, we're older, we know the world, we have jobs and whatnot, and, you know, they're a child, right? But that shouldn't be your wife, right? Your wife should be an individual, right, who you respect, right? Like just intellectually, you respect her, right? And you can, and you know, if she says, hey, no, that's wrong or that's not a good idea, right? You respect her, right? If you constantly say, no, I know better, I know better, she's going to feel like you think she's an idiot. And then you wonder why then she's going to leave. Because you guys know as men, right? When women emasculate you or whatever, or kind of talk down to you, you don't like it. You don't like to be talked down to by anyone. So why do you think that women biologically like being talked down to? When you men yourselves don't like being talked down to.
Blue, go ahead. Um, seriously, you got one more warning, friend.
I know. My bad. I apologize. Hey, but look though, on some real shit though, would women rather, you know what I'm saying? If you ask them, would they rather the man pay all the bills and they do nothing? Here's my only problem with that. Say if it was anything that was to happen to me, how would you work the system as far as being able to maneuver as far as
Oh,
continuing to keep money coming in?
oh, I love this
That's my only thing.
question.
That's my only thing. Like, so if you don't have no skill,
Question
like
to answer. So let
let's
me answer
say
it for you.
like
Who's
No, we're
that?
gonna have
Hold
skills
on,
because that's the whole
hold on.
thing.
Okay,
I'm
wait, bossy. Please wait. Who was that hand heart for,
I,
DJ? No, it was a hand heart set, and I think it was sent for you. All right, you got a 3-minute mute. I
am
know.
I
Sorry, you are on mute for 3 minutes. If you do talk at all during those 3 minutes, I will drop you. Alrighty, Prosperity, it's on you.
Okay, so I just want to ask a couple of questions to the gentleman. First of all, I want to know, what is combative? What does combative mean to you? What does it look like when a woman is quote unquote combative? Two, um, so let's just say, and then in the today's society in 2026, not 1960, most of the women are a little bit more educated than the average black man. And I'm not saying everybody. So in that type of a situation, because in my mind, a leader should be smarter, right? Should have more skill, just should be smarter. So when it comes to the climate where we are right now, where women, black women in particular, are more educated than black men, that's a fact. In that type of a situation, where she's smarter than you, right? Are you still the leader who should be submitted to? I just want to know. And to answer Blue's question, in today's society, women aren't staying home. Women are not without skill, without bringing in money. And as a matter of fact, 80% of our households in our culture, the women is out earning the man. Like, she's the head of the household. So that right there is an antiquated type of a situation. And I think you all keep saying this as if it's so true in 2026. It's not a thing. In 2026, you all are not going to work and the woman staying at home. It's not happening. It's a fallacy. There's very few of our homes that operate like that. So I don't understand why we keep putting that on the table. It's not on the table anymore, right? Let's get into reality. Let's actually bring some leadership skills where you're worthy to be submitted to, because most of you aren't, right? You have no idea how to lead. And this is the reason why we're saying we're not following you, we're not submitting to you, we're not listening to you. You have to come with skill, and most of you don't. So that's all.
Lot. And then, Bossy, I'm going to go to you. I want to hear what you had to say.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say I I want to wait to really respond up on this. I really just want to touch on a few things, right?
Okay.
So what was the question that the young lady asked? Somebody asked me a question about combative or something like that, or was that for somebody else?
Prosperity asked the gentleman on the panel, which I would actually like y'all to answer. I just wanted to wait until Blue was available. So, yeah, but it's your turn. You go ahead and answer. Prosperity, if you want to give the question one more time, you can.
Okay, so I kept hearing combative, and I don't know. This wasn't for anybody in particular. This is for all the gentlemen. What is combative? What does combative look like in a relationship?
Well, you're not really receptive to direction. You're very argumentative. You feel more so that you need to prove a point versus like come to a common solution amongst each other. Like it's a lot of different forms of combative behavior in a relationship.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry, was there another question?
No.
Let
Prosperity.
me be more specific, okay? I know what combative means as a word. I know what it means, right? But I want to know what a combative woman is. I know that you gave you just gave us but I need you to walk that out for me. Like, does it mean when you come to me and you bring an idea and I say, I don't agree with that. I don't want to do that. Is that combative to you?
No, that's disagreeing. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to pry or to sound any type of way. But realistically, it doesn't really seem like you're listening. It seems like you're looking to see if I even have the competency or capacity to answer your
That's not
question.
true at all. That's not
Ma'am,
true at
I'm
all.
still
You
talking.
answered the
Can you
question.
not can you not cut me off? Because I just gave you examples of how women can be combative, and yet you're asking me to answer the question again. It's not rocket science. If it's some form of leadership that needs to be taken upon as me as a man, right? And as a woman, you know what I'm saying? It's for your safety or whatever the case might be, whatever the subject may be. And against the betterment of your will, you feel like, okay, cool, I don't need to listen to you. And there be situations where it's like, okay, you didn't listen to me, it didn't work out for you, and now you're upset, and now I have to compartmentalize with you because you didn't want to follow my leadership.
So that's
Okay.
combative to you because she didn't listen to you and she went another way. That's combative. It's because actually, by definition of the word, that's not combative. But go ahead, I'm listening.
I'm confused. You just said I gave the definition, and
No,
you
you
don't look
didn't
at
give the
that as combative.
definition. You didn't give the definition.
No,
So
sir.
lots, because
I'm,
lots,
uh,
no.
I mean, I'm just saying I'm
Oh,
holding people
but I want to
accountable.
clarify. I want
She
to
said
clarify.
that was the definition, so I'm confused now.
Well, no, I want to clarify for you because I think she was looking for specific behaviors. You gave a scenario. What behaviors would a combative woman exhibit? What would that look like? Not
Oh, for okay,
specific
cool. I'll
scenarios I
give
think
you.
are a little too pigeonholed.
I got you. So, for example, whenever a conversation is had where two people need to be heard in the conversation, now you giving your piece and I speak my piece, and immediately you're over talking me, you're immediately disagreeing, you're not trying to hear me out. That's combative behavior. You're fighting for your point, but you're not being receptive to any information given to you.
So what you're describing is better. It'd be better to be defiant, right? Which would be characterized by boldly resisting or challenging. So what you've described would be more like
It's,
defiance and not necessarily like combativeness.
I'm confused. You gave words that are literally similes of combative. What? Okay, you know what? Cool. I'll let another gentleman answer that question since
I mean, I mean,
I mean,
Hey, now you want me to
hold on,
wait,
hold
wait,
on, hold on.
I'm on the,
Hold on.
I'm on the
Look,
thesaurus. I'm on the
look.
thesaurus.
Excuse me. Remember, when I speak, everyone's quiet. Prosperity, I think she wanted to respond to you. Locke, did you give up because you didn't want the fight? And that's fine. Or did you give up
Oh,
because you didn't understand what was being asked? Because I want you to understand. because I actually think you can answer this question. This is my mod, y'all. But I think you can answer the question, and I don't think you're gonna love the answer. Prosperity's gonna challenge you. That's who I was telling you about earlier. She's gonna challenge you like I would challenge you.
I don't
So
know. See, the thing is, I don't mind the challenge, but what I'm trying to like get everyone to understand in this conversation is when you look at the literal sense of the definition, I've given you that already. When you're looking at it as in the context of a man's perspective of what we view as combative, we're telling you what we feel, and you're telling us, oh no, that's not right. But yet you're telling us that what that is that like you're literally describing combative behavior. So how exactly would that not be the answer that you're looking for? That's
So
that's
I'm
where the
here on the
confusion is coming
on the
in at.
dictionary right
So
now.
look, no, sweetheart, I'm gonna let another gentleman answer that question because I feel like it's a back and forth. But
Yeah,
what
I
I'm a,
do want to just
what
answer
I have
quickly
to
though.
okay, again, I'll let another gentleman answer that. So the what I was going to say for my tidbit was I understand how y'all ladies may feel, but honestly, you can't sit and take personalized situations and generalize it to every man. Not every man are a horrible man. Not
Nobody
every
did that.
man. Hold on, no, that
But
was a
nobody.
it, ma'am. It's not okay. Look, hold on, because let me tell you something. All the ladies were sitting here fighting for their turn to talk in silence, right? So why every time I'm saying one syllable, I'm being interrupted? I'm not tolerating that.
Because
You
you
can debate, you can give
couldn't
your
define
thoughts, but
because you
sweetheart,
couldn't
you
define
can't keep cutting me off. You
you couldn't
can't keep
define a
cutting me off.
word,
You're
and then you
being a
said that they were
hypocrite now.
synonyms, right? And they're not
You're
synonyms,
okay, but
right?
can
They're
we
not
talk?
synonyms. You don't know
What's the
what
point
the
of
definition of
asking man?
combative
What's the
is.
point of asking a man a
You asked for
question?
the
This
definition, not your
you're literally
opinion.
giving an example
Lock,
of
you have
combative
No,
mod.
behavior.
Lock,
no.
you have
You're
mod.
not even trying to
Lock,
listen.
you have
You asked
mod.
you again.
Lock, you have
You,
mod.
What
I'm
wait, hold
gonna be
on,
honest, you're
hold on.
being extremely disrespectful.
What have I lied about?
No, I just said you have mod, sir. You have mod.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah,
no,
she
no.
said lock, you have
Oh,
mod.
okay.
Lock,
It's
you
look,
have
it's too
mod.
much
Yes,
voices.
and I'm
It's too
like,
much
she's being
voices
disrespectful.
going on, and I can't hear nothing. Like this is why the conversation is kind of productive. Y'all want people to listen to y'all, but y'all over talking the person that's talking. You give it both ways, or you have it no way. So are we gonna respect the person talking or not? You want my
Go for it,
opinion? I'm giving
friend.
you my opinion. Nah, honestly, I'm gonna just let the next gentleman talk. Go ahead.
Prosperity, did you want to re-ask that question before we let Blue and Nacho answer?
I do. I want to say this. It wasn't y'all. It was one woman that was interrupting you. I interrupted and I stopped doing it. So, I just wanted to make that clear. But when the example you gave as far as talking over you and so on, now that would fall under the definition of combative. But her not receiving what you say, that's not combative. That's her making a choice that she didn't want to agree with you and she didn't receive what you said. That part of it is not combative. And what you did was you took two things and you put it under the guise of combative, and one thing was only relevant. There was only one part of your example that actually was combative.
Not
And
really.
that's why I asked a question, because I'm not really concerned about what you all think is combative. I could care less. What I'm concerned about is that you all using words out of context. And when you say a woman is combative just because she didn't take your advice or she didn't do what you told her to do, that is not combative. That's a grown woman deciding whether to agree or disagree with you. And that is why I asked the question the way that I asked it, because I know that you all make up your own definitions and then you put the labels on us that don't fit. And that's why I asked the question, and you just proved my point. Thank you.
So,
Hey, look, you ain't.
I
Hey,
just
look.
want to
Let me
say
just say
something real
something,
quick.
bro. Hey,
Can
real quick though. I
I
just
just
was
want
gonna
to say something
say.
real quick in
Hold
response,
on one
real
second.
quick.
Okay, so I need everyone to understand Locke is a mod here. So please, when he speaks, please allow him to speak. I haven't had too much of an issue, but I would really, really appreciate it. Lacey, hush. I see you in the comments. Please allow him to speak. Please, 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 please. Go ahead.
So all I was saying was, right, I was asked for the literal definition. And when I gave the definition, I don't know which lady said it, but somebody said that was correct. And then I gave examples. And instead of listening to the information, like the immediate no, I don't want to agree, I don't agree. Like you're not even hearing the point out to be able to grasp if I'm correct or not. You're not even letting the point land. That was the point that I was making. So I'm not trying to discredit nobody or anything, but I'm saying, to get the full grasp of what I'm saying, you got to listen to the full thought. You can't just take two sentences and literally be like, nope, I don't want to listen no more, forget it. And it's dismissive. And it doesn't make the conversation, like work for either side of the table.
Prosperity.
Let me just be clear. I never asked for the definition. I asked what it means to you. So I never asked for the definition. I said, what does it mean? And not necessarily to you. I wasn't speaking to you. I said, what does it mean to the gentleman? What does it look like in a relationship? That's what I asked. And when you answered, I came off and I said, well, I didn't say I didn't agree with you. But that wasn't what was said. I didn't ask you for the definition. I asked you what it looked like to you. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, not even to you,
I'll
to the
correct.
man.
Hold on. I'll correct myself because I don't know which lady said it, but some young lady turned on her mic and said, "Do you even know what it means?" So that's where that came from, because that's why I got to the point where I said, are we looking for a competency thing here, or are we looking for our personal opinion like it was asked? That's why I was confused. So like that's why I was saying all the chiming in, like it's confusing because I'm hearing a woman's voice, but I'm not sure who it's coming from.
I just said one last thing, please.
Prosperity, this is your conversation. You can go back and forth. You don't have to put your hand up.
I just wanted to say that I always want to be respectful. I noticed something. I was still talking and you cut in, and then you told me to hold on. It's the very same thing that you just got through complaining about that you absolutely just did to me. But I didn't say anything about it. I just went on mute and let you finish, even though you interrupted me. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the thing. I just feel like men in the midst of a conversation with women feel as though they have the hierarchy in the conversation and that no one should cut them off. And if a man is talking, you should shut up and listen. That's just what I hear. And then I also hear the victimhood, right? And these are the role. And you all, I don't even think you do it consciously. I think it's a subconscious thing that you all do, right? And that is extremely off-putting, right? You have no hierarchy in this conversation. At least not with me. Now, I respect the panel, but you don't get to cut me off if you don't want me to cut you off.
Okay, well, I apologize if I cut you off because, sweetheart, when I responded, you actually stopped speaking for a brief moment. So I took that time to respond to you since it was our back and forth that we was having going on there. So it wasn't intentional. So the labeling me without knowing me is irresponsible. But I understand where you're coming from and I hear you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the ownership.
Can I please explain my thing about what I think women are being combative now? Can I go?
Yeah, sure. And then I know Oksana wanted to go. Then I'll introduce Tony. Yeah, wait, Praley. God dang it. Where's that coming from?
Adding that L. Keep adding that L.
I keep adding it, and it's like in my
I
head.
just
It
want
sounds
to just say this.
But go ahead. Go ahead, Bossy. I'm sorry, Prairie.
I really think that submission is a man and woman thing. A man could be submissive, a woman could be submissive. It's not just for a feminine energy only, or just for women only, or just for kids only. It depends on what you want to submit to. Like I said earlier, there's people that submit to things that are not even people and they're submitted to them. And if you pick to be with that type of person, you are now submitting to those things that that person is a part of. So it's not always about who you submit to unless you're picking somebody that's verbally abusive, somebody that's physically abusive, somebody that is just not good for who you are or for who you want to become. And that goes for friendships, relationships, even your family. Because even as children, doing what our parents said is basically submission because we're following the authority. And we can all disagree, but I'm just making it a very a very observational suggestion when I say this. I really truly believe that we all have submitted in the worst ways throughout our lifetime, and we didn't notice it until we got to an age where we realized this is not good for me. This is not good for the person that I care about. When you actually care about stuff and you want to do the right thing, you won't have to submit because it won't be submission. It will be something that you just want to do with yourself. So I feel as though women can be combative when, let's say, she's been home all day with the kids, or better yet, she's just been home all day, or she got off of work. It doesn't really matter what the scenario is. I feel like a combative woman in general is someone who always wants an argument, not a debate, but always wants an argument to prove that they're right. Literally, you can literally be talking about making lasagna, and she's gonna argue it down just to make Big Z when it's literally damn near the same thing. So it didn't even make a difference. Another thing that I think is a combative woman, I think if my friend is always calling me with negativity and drama all the time, but you don't even ask me how I'm doing, you don't see how I'm doing, you're not caring for my well-being or my safety. I hang out with you, I run into people that dislike me and they want to harm me. Like, that's all what I think a combative woman is. Somebody that is extremely into being negative, and they want negativity around them at all times, and they will cause any amount of trouble to keep it going. They do not care. That's what I think a combative woman is.
Okay, Gravity. I'll see you in a sec. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Prairie. I got it right that time. I put it.
Can I say what I think? Can I say what I think a combative man is? I feel like a man who is not well perceiving to himself. Like, you don't know who you actually are, and you just want to believe in the hype of your potential. And I think that's the same for women though too. Like, just, know who you are and be honest with yourself so that other people can gravitate towards you and who you actually are versus just nitpicking, if that makes sense. Because certain people will pick, like, oh, okay, well, I'm only going to do my laundry on a Tuesday, but they know they need their laundry done every Monday. So why are you doing your laundry on a Tuesday? Like, certain people like that, where they not thinking, well, in general, just not thinking of others. That's what I think a combative person is.
Selfish. Okay. I don't agree with that definition, but I can't see that. I think combative. I think selfishness is possibly a byproduct of combativeness. Hi, Moon. Welcome. Okay, so Prairie.
You said it was more.
Yeah, Prairie, and then Melly, and then I do want the gentleman to answer the prompt. So after you two go, then we're gonna go to Tony, and then Nacho, then Tony. Go ahead.
And listen, this is going to sound, because we do have a very, 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 we have a very, very, very codependent community, right? Be single. Why be with someone who you feel is combative? Listen, I will never submit to a man. I would rather chew my own hands off at the wrist like a coyote trapped in a paw trap before I would submit to a man, because I'm not a child, right? But that's me. There are people that want to submit. There are people who want to submit. There are people who are going to let you do your Negrotheticals. There are people who are going to walk around the house and they're going to quote the 48 laws of power, and they're going to give you their prison knowledge. And I'm talking men and women. There's men and women who are going to do the wonderful art of Negro babble, where you just gotta like, we're up at 2 a.m. arguing. Listen,
Be single. It's okay. A lot of the times when I listen to men talk about they want a partner who just like is quiet and doesn't bother them, they don't sound like they like people that much, and they could just be single. You could just, that's an option. You don't have to have kids because you don't like them. From the men I've heard up here, you don't like the kids, you don't like the woman, you don't like the idea of being in community, you don't like the idea of actually doing all the things, and that's okay. Be single. I'm begging you to stop dumping your trauma that mommy didn't hug you enough and daddy wasn't there onto the rest of us. You want someone who's going to be a lapdog with a purse, a nurse in a purse. You want someone who's going to be a freaky virgin and a submissive provider. Cool. But that's not the reality. Most people aren't going to put up with that, and they're not going to stick around for that. And that's okay. What you actually want, you don't want a submissive woman. You want to be alone, and you want to occasionally hire someone to touch privates with you, and that's it. And the faster that more people just recognize that they're probably not actually into humans that much, that's okay. We would like it. We would like it if all of you would, one, read a book, pick up a couple of the sources and dictionaries, read some books, and from, like I said, from the 200 section to the 400 section, read all of those books in there before you get with another person, and then don't get with another person because you don't like them, and that's okay. All right? It's okay. You don't want a partner. You just want a dog or a child or an employee, and that's okay. Be alone. Practice in being alone. Okay, I'm gonna land on that. Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with everything she just said. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Moon, behave down there. Melly, go ahead. And then we're gonna go to the gentleman because I do want to hear their things.
Awesome. So I just wanted to say, to address the prompt, as a woman who was married for 21 years, submission can be power if you submit with the right partner. You must be equally yoked, and you have to stay like on that same frequency together. Now, on the flip side, if you do submit to the wrong person, it is weakness, and staying is weakness. Even if you feel like it's powerful and you're being strong, and the whole you have to suffer and all this type of thing, and you have to go through it for it to be real, that's nonsense. It should be natural and easy and should flow like water. If it's forced, you can't. Love is like a butterfly. You can't do all that. It's too fragile, and you can't conspire love. It's something that naturally lands on you. There's not any conspiracy or any fortune involved in love, And that's all I have to say about that. Also, I'm in AZ now, girl. I'm getting closer to you. Hello.
Yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy to hear all the exciting things, Melly. We do have to catch up because I've been ripping and running, girl. Okay, so thank you so much. Everyone tap the screen. I want to get to 35K. Can we do that in the next 30 minutes? And then grab your heart me. Gift the panel, please. You don't have to gift me. I would prefer for you to gift the panel, please. They're doing a wonderful job. I'm enjoying this conversation a lot. Nacho, are you still here with me, friend?
You almost fell asleep. You called me about like 4 or 5 times, and you passed me over about 20 times.
I didn't see you, sir. I never saw the hand go up, but I did want Prosperity's question. Can you provide your definition of a combative woman? We'd love to hear.
No, for the most part, most of the people, it started getting correct towards the end. especially with the fellas, and a lot of the ladies. If you're going back and forth, you're not reaching the point. You're. It's like there's no solution. You're not looking for solution. But I wanted to talk about something before that, because I was left out a long time ago. So I was looking at the subject. It says, is submission power or weakness? But what I kept getting is a lot of the people on the panel, mostly women, they was talking about men. They were saying like it's all men. And you can't generalize it like that because it's not all men. It doesn't say is submission power or weakness in men. It just says is submission power or weakness. So it's both
Can I
parties.
stop you for a second, friend?
Sure.
It's submission, power, or weakness. We are referring to the woman. Who is she submitting to?
It doesn't say that. So I wouldn't know.
No. We're actually I want to stay on topic right now.
Okay.
Because Prosperity asked the question, and you have to put your hand up here. You have to put your hand up here in order to get like in the rotation. That's why everyone's been in the rotation. They've had their hand up. You said let them go with it? Okay. I just do want you to know that, thank you. I do want you to know that this is in reference a woman, and who would she be submitting to? A man. So if she's submitting to a man, then that's why all of the ladies are going to speak about men. I did want to point that out, but go ahead. But please make sure you answer Prosperity's question.
Well, the competitive?
Yeah, but I also want you to finish your point. My mom wants to hear it. So I the group might want to hear it.
Yeah, because
Might be the-
it dissolved the word submission when you were some like a couple of parties said it on here on the panel. It dissolved the word submission, power or weakness, because if you with somebody that you want to be with and you're working with and you're like really involved with, you miss the submission part, but it's there. You're submitting without even knowing it, both parties. So it's like submission is like, hey, let's do this. I'm submitting to you. There's even songs about that. There's even gospel songs about that. That's showing true love. That's showing dedication. That's showing, hey, I want to do this with you. I'm submitting to you. I'm but you're not. If you choose the wrong person, that's your decision, and that's your fault. But if you choose the right person, I feel submission. You wouldn't even know it's submission because you're so into the right place. You wouldn't even know it's submission. So we kind of define it, and then we take away from true love. We take away from dedication. Hey, I'm not thinking about that. I'm not submitting to you. We here together. Let's do this. Let's. So you don't think about the word submission. Nobody's gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna submit to you. I'm gonna put my." A woman is not gonna get on her knees and say, "Here's your plate." Nah, I'm not gonna let you do that. What you doing? You see what I'm saying? So if it's genuine, you're not even thinking about submission. What is power or weakness? No, it's togetherness. I don't like that word submission. So I land on that.
Okay. All right. Did you answer the question?
Oh, which one?
What a combative woman is?
Oh, okay. Go back to that one. Okay, combative.
Yeah.
I thought it like going back and forth, like hey, like you can't
Oh,
get
did
to a
you say
point.
it? And I Prosperity, did you catch it?
It's like you can't come to a point. Like you can't come to a point. It's like everything you say. Like for instance, like I was with my ex one time, and I say, okay, you're right. Just to oh, you just saying that because you just want me to shut up. I didn't say that. So it's like you're not trying to come to a conclusion. You're looking for points to just keep going and go back and forth when a conclusion is trying to be concurred. So like when you're in a situation like that, I feel that's a combative situation. Like both ways, both parties. If you want to listen, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to keep finding ways to find something wrong. You know, you're not trying to find a solution. That's my definition. That's my simple definition. I'm not going to get to details too much,
Yeah.
but that's, mhm.
Prosperity, did you want to respond before I go to Tony?
No, I just don't think that. I don't know. What he said is true, but okay, I got it. That's okay. I heard him. It's okay.
Okay. I'm where you are. I just heard your thoughts in my brain. Hi, Tony. Welcome. There was a question asked, so I'm going to have you address the prompt, and then I also would like for you to answer, what is your definition of a combative woman? You may not be one of the men that say that, but I would like to know your definition if you could share it.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
A combative woman is when someone is just being aggressive when we're having a conversation. She might be defensive on something that she don't have to defend, and she find ways by overthinking something to make it be combative, to where it's something that's simple that she make really big, or she might make it a big argument when it shouldn't be an argument, and she being combative to what I'm saying, where I might be talking soft and she might be all aggressive, and that's where I see her being combative with me. Now, when it comes to the prompt, is submission, power, or weakness? Submission is very powerful. I believe that a woman who can be submissive to a man is a woman who fully trusts a man in his leadership. And I think from society, most women have gave submissive understanding to a male who she think is a man that's a leader. And that's where it's so much trauma that she's saying, well, you know, it's not many guys out there that's leaders, but it's just a men that you always attractive that's not leaders. And they just straight males, but that you just look at them in a different way, and you don't look at his performance and how he move in life and how he speak and how he carry himself. So if a woman is submissive to me, I'm naturally going to be a servant to that woman because she's submissive. She trusting everything that she have for our leadership. So for instance, if she say, hey babe, something wrong with the garbage disposal, she's telling me the problem. She gave me the problem, and she know no matter what, you got the answer. I'm leaving that all into you. She said, hey baby, I want to go on a trip with the kids in 7 months. She told me what she want to do is my job as a leader to solve that problem, to make it happen. So she trusted me. I'm giving it to you. You handle it. The same way as if I go to God and say, I can't handle this what I'm dealing with right now. God, I need you. I'm being submissive to trust him no matter what goes on, that he's going to take care of what needs to be taken care of. And I don't question it. So when that woman is not questioning my leadership, I'm naturally going to be a servant to her. I'm naturally going to fill up her tank. I'm naturally going to make sure she got money in her pocket. I'm naturally going to make sure that it's the things that she like to do or enjoy. I'm going to make sure that she go do those things, or she have access to take care of those things, or do things that just for her and not for me and the kids. So just by her being submissive, I'm naturally going to be a servant to her. And because I'm treating her that way, she gonna naturally gonna be a servant to me. I want to make sure I'm in my good place, and she's taking care of the things that she think I desire or need. And it works better that way by her being submissive and fully trusting me in my leadership and how I'm going. She don't have to question if I'm good with money, because if I'm not good with money, it all falls on me. If I mess up some money in an investment, it falls on me. It's my job to get that back, because she said, I don't think you should do that, but you know what? You the man, and you're gonna make the last decision. I'm gonna roll with it. So if you mess up, you know it's on you, and that's what a true leadership is. If it falls bad, it's on me. I need to fix what happened. So that's why I love a woman that can be submissive, because that's naturally saying whatever problems I got in life, I'm giving it over to my man, and he gonna handle it. I ain't questioning nothing. I don't want to stress. I don't want to have no issues. I want him to handle it, and I just want to be soft and move the way I want to move, and not even worry about anything. So that's my definition, and that's my understanding.
Prosperity, we're open panel. I do have a question. I want Prosperity to go. Unless you had another question, Prosperity.
I just wanted to say, she doesn't question my leadership. That sounds like a God complex to me. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know about y'all and y'all relationship with God, but I ask questions and I get answers, right? It's not necessarily questioning who he is. It's that I'm questioning the matter. I may not understand, right? And I have a right to ask a question, right? And so when you say questioning your leadership, I don't know. It just feels a little. Oh, and just to be just let's be real clear. We all know how to be submissive. So when you say I want a woman who knows how, we all know how to be submissive. Some of us just choose not to be.
So what I mean question, I mean like if we need to move to another state and you like, well, I got family and friends here, and your man is telling you, in order for us to be in a better position, not right now, but in a year or two, we need to go to this state. And you're questioning, well, why we gotta do that? And I say, well, I'm telling you why, but you don't understand why I'm doing it. Well, who's making the final decision? Is it me, because it falls on me, or is it you?
Are you
If it
asking?
falls on me, I take full accountability, and I need to correct it. Now, if you're saying that you would like for a man to be submissive to you, so I'll be happy to go to my woman and say, hey, my truck need all new tires and it's gonna cost $1,700. Go handle it. I don't want to deal with it. I want to be submissive to you. But see, it's not feasible in a woman mindset to say, I'm not gonna do that for you. You're crazy. But a man don't think that way. The man only get money to take care of the woman, so he can show her the best way he wants to financially put her in better situations with own her own company or doing whatever she want to do. He doesn't really care about the money. It's what he's getting for the money, and that's why he want to put his family in a better position, and that's why his leadership is not to even be worried about the money. It's get the money to make her be in a better position and the kids. And that's
So
why that
was that
leadership is saying, I'm a sacrifice for you and them, no matter what.
question for me?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, I never said anything about my man submitting to me. That was never said by me. It just seems like you all men, you feel like it has to be somebody in authority, and why not it just be me? And as far as, moving to another state, and I literally told you I don't want to, right? I'm completely against it. And then you do it anyway, and then there's a loss. I don't want to suffer loss. I don't want to be in a situation where you have to fix it, because there may be a situation where you can't fix it. And who suffers that? I do. I don't want to suffer after I told you I didn't want to do it in the first place. So after we fall, there's going to be some problems in the house. I'm just going to be honest with you, simply because I literally told you the reasons why. I'm very thorough, right? So if I'm giving you my reasons why I don't want to do it, it's not just because I don't want to do it. There's good reasoning as to why I don't. And then those reasons come up and we actually take a loss, there's going to be a problem. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to be happy. And so, I don't like that whole, well, who's going to make the final decision? If you're not a good decision maker, I'm not sure if I would leave my life in your hands to make that decision, especially if we fall, because you're saying that you're a good leader and you make good decisions, but you didn't. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying, but I can't fix women who marry a man who's not a leader. You knew that from the get-go. He's not a leader.
That's
You
what I was
know
gonna
he
say.
got flaws.
It's a contradiction because
It's straight up right in the beginning. He's going to show you. He's going to show you within the first month he's not a good leader because he asked you, "Hey, where you want to go do this weekend?" He already showing you he's not a leader. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you just using as if you was a woman of God. For you saying that if when you talk to God, you're looking for answers. Okay, so in other words, if you're using God the standard, if God gave man the leadership over the woman, why is that the problem? It's not saying that he's over you, controlling you. It's saying that when you as the woman have a problem, go to your husband. And when your husband can't fix it, he comes to me. It's an order. It's an order to this. So that's why your husband is covering you, so you won't feel that trauma or feel that burden because he is built for that. You're not built for the same thing he's built for, physically or mentally, because we don't move on emotions.
No,
So
sir.
if that's the
So,
issue,
okay.
if that's the issue, explain me why that's the issue.
So let me just say this. I know we're going back to the situation and the scenario that you created. So aside from all of the fluff that I just heard, let's go back to what the scenario that you created. And that scenario was, if I want to move and you say you don't want to move, and at the end of the day, I make the final decision. Let's go back to you failing, because you said, if we fall, then that's on me, right? So I'm going to that. If I gave it to you, you said the leadership, you should know it, but you just failed. And that could cost me. I could be in a very uncomfortable situation because you didn't properly make the right decision as the quote unquote leader. So you failed, right? So so what do we do then? Do I take the loss? What if you can't recover from this loss? What if I'm just sitting and suffering from your lack of leadership? That's why, for me, it's a partnership. We make the decision. If we can't come up with the decision and both of us are disagreeing about it, we sit still, right? Because now I don't have to suffer a loss because of your bad decision after I already gave you many reasons why we shouldn't do it. But then you overthrew that and did it anyway. And now I'm sitting in this hellhole with you, waiting to get out of it that you may not be able to get us out of. And I said, that's where the problem starts. Now, can we stay there?
So can I
Oh, yes, we can
actually
stay
add
there.
to that?
So what I would say to that is that
Hold on one
if
second.
you're if
Hold on 1 second, Tony. After this exchange, just so everybody knows what's happening, because I'm gonna let you guys go. I believe Oksana, Prairie, Lot. Then we're gonna introduce the new panelists. But I want you two to finish this exchange, just so y'all know it's coming. Go ahead.
So if you're telling me as the wife, hey, I don't want to go, guess what? You have that every right to say you don't want to go. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave you there. And I'm gonna go on what I gotta do because I have a purpose, and it's not the purpose that I'm giving, it's the purpose that God gave to me. So you may not understand that purpose because this is something that's in me that God has given to me that I must go here, no matter what you're thinking or what you got going on emotionally or physically, because I'm not staying in a state or city because I have friends and family. I have to be a provider. I had to be a man. I had to lead. And one of the hardest things in the world to do is to be a man that can truly lead his family, meaning that he's had to sacrifice things that the woman may never understand. But you want to stay home with your family friends? Cool, you stay home. And if it caused division between me and you, that's just what it may be. But you have that right to go separate. You have that right to go do what you want to do because I want someone who's going to trust me and follow me. Now, if she make a better decision on holding money and finances, guess what? I'm gonna give her the money because she's better at financing money than me. It's things that she's better with, and it's things that I'm better at. We don't have to compete with each other. If that's what you're good with, sweetie, handle that. This is what I'm good at. Don't worry about that. That's simple. You want to stay home with your family friends? Cool. I gotta go because you don't see my career. Hey, they moving to another state, or you know what? They not even doing this in the state no more. So I went to school for this. I gotta go where I gotta go. You might be working in medical field. That's cool. You can work in the medical field. You want to stay there, fine. Even though you can go travel, you decide not to because instead of you following your husband, you say I'm gonna stay here with my family and friends. So you already proved to me that me and you are not as one. We're already separated at that point. And I land.
Because I don't want to hold up your panel, Psalms, I'll leave it there. For the only reason is because I don't want to hold up your panel.
I want to circle back, so I'm gonna just let the other people speak, but I want to circle back to that because I was enjoying that exchange. But yeah, because I think you could articulate what I was thinking better. So, but Prairie, I know you want, no, Oksana, she had her hand up first, then Prairie, and then Lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for
That
your
was
patience.
a lot. It was a lot. And I don't think a lot of guys understand, like, when they say these things, it sounds like you're describing child and a man. Really, that's what it sounds like, right? When they say, "Oh, don't talk back to me," blah blah blah. I know best. Da, 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 da. It kind of sounds like that, right? Which maybe you guys can't hear it, right? But if it was to draw a whole list and draw all the parallels, you would find so much things that are exactly the same or very similar to how parents treat their children, or how parents want their children to just do as they're told without questioning, right? And the issue is that talking about a leader, right? A good leader, right, is considerate of the people he's leading, right? He doesn't make decisions that are like, well, I want to do this. This is good for my career, right? Without considering, oh, okay, cool, but the kids don't want to really move school. They're about to graduate in 2 years. My wife, like, she's got a good job here. She's been working hard. A good leader wouldn't say, come do this now or I'm leaving. That's not what a leader does. And you trying to say, well, it's not my fault if these ladies haven't found a leader. You're not a leader. You're not a leader, right? You want people to just blindly follow you, but you don't want to lead them. You want to drag them. And if they start kicking and screaming a bit too much, you'll just let them go and go about your business. You want to drag a family, not lead them. A good leader is considerate of the people they're leading, and they don't make selfish decisions, right? They try to gaslight and say, well, if you pick a bad leader, that's your fault. Why are you assuming that when we're talking personally? No, we're talking objectively, right? Not everybody is competent. Not everybody is a leader, man or woman, right? That's got nothing to do with any personals or whatever. That's just a fact. But however, a lot of the time you don't know to the greatest extent if this person is, leader or not, because they could be doing very well for 5 years and then they could start making mistakes. So again, you don't want to lead. You don't want, a partnership and a family. You want subjects. You literally want subjects who don't question you because you want them to, to tell you that you're right. Because you think that you're right, because you're a man, and apparently she's too emotional, and she has to ask you to do everything because apparently she's not competent enough to do anything for herself, like a child, like children do with their parents. And I learned there.
Prairie.
One, asking someone to leave their support system without a clear and concise and like all the way like cut through plan is insanity. I would never ask my partner, hey, that's the thing. I did ask my partner to move from a huge city to the middle of nowhere with me. And I had a clear cut, concise 5-year plan, right? That's the thing. I had, hey, this is everything that you want. Here's everything that you want to feel safe, whole, complete. Here's all the things that if this fails, here's everything I'm going to do to get you back home with your people. That's what you have to do, right? Saying, hey, for my business or for my job, we need to move. Well, what happens if your business goes under or your job lays you off? What happens if you get injured at work and now I'm away from my support system with our children, right? Because there's people that keep saying this whole like, well, he's the primary breadwinner. No, he's not. Realistically, we only make a $3,000 difference between men and women in this country. He's not the primary. Oh wow, he gets 36 more dollars per check than you do. Whoop-de-doo. Okay? Oksana made fantastic points, literally covered majority of what I was going to say. I'm not going to be your soft place to land if you are going to be a dud. That doesn't make sense. And women are choosing better. They're choosing themselves. They're choosing themselves. They're saying, "Hey, wait a second. Um, how does that make sense for me?" Because you guys keep saying, "Well, you guys are choosing the bad men." If there's 15 snakes in a bucket, how do you know which snake is a good snake? Because all the snakes just look like snakes. You can't choose someone, and many people, men and women, mask for years. You don't know who this person really is until a catalytic change happens. A child, a job loss, an affair. The man that you marry on your wedding day is not the same man that's divorcing you, ladies. He's not the same man who's having an affair with Dee Dee Atkins down the street. If you know, you know. If you're from the South, you know what I mean when I say Dee Dee Allen or Dee Dee Atkins. Okay? The boy you fall in love with at 18 and you guys are gonna graduate and become high school sweethearts and have all the things is not the same man at 35 years old who hates your stinking guts. It's the same with a woman. It's the same thing. Okay? You guys keep saying this, choose better, choose better, choose better. Cool. Now women are saying, okay, I'm going to choose better. I'm not going to choose you. I'm not going to choose someone who's going to tell me that I need to submit to them when we're both working 40 hours a week. And I still have to come home and hit the second shift. If you don't know what the second shift is the extra hours that a woman is putting in the household, taking care of the household and the children and doing kin keeping. So she's taking care of your friends and your family because you won't put in that same amount of effort to maintain a relationship with them. She's doing the same. She's doing all of these things, my guy. So I'm going to land on that. You have folks that are begging to come up. So I'm gonna drop because look, you seem like you're about to have a good old fashioned rumble and tussle with some of these people down here. You are doing a wonderful job. This is a wonderful prompt. I wish people would read books and like stop doing Negro babble about it, but you're doing great. Go ahead and drop me for the algo, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming up, Prairie. It's always a pleasure. And you are welcome back anytime. Alrighty. I believe Locke wanted to go. And then I know Melly said she wanted to go. And then I'm going to get to my new panelist.
Yeah. So, ladies, if you're gonna get triggered, cover your ears now. But I'm speaking up for the fellas that didn't get to speak up yet. Ladies, can you please? Okay, so we're making a general topic here. Can you please stop personalizing these topics? If we wanted to know about your personal life, we will ask. I feel like it's a lot of projection going on here because what situations were you ladies in to where you're experiencing only this side of relationships? There are good men out here. There are men out here who can equally submit to women just like they would want a woman to submit to them. Just because that isn't your experience does not mean you get to get up here in front of 50 people and try to fearmonger women into being scared like as if there's no good men out there. I'm going to hold y'all accountable and I'm going to let y'all know that's a bunch of hypocrisy coming out of your lips. I'm so sorry. And honestly, the way that I feel about the subject is it's simple. The women out there that are happy in relationships, guess what? They're submitting to that man and they're telling you ladies that. And then guess what? They go online and say that. Now they're pick-me's. The whole world is telling you exactly what submission is in a relationship and what it takes and why it's important. It's not one-sided. So if you're in a one-sided submissive relationship, you need to have better discernment and vet your men better. Because I'm sorry, but men are too easy to catch up to really be fooled by them. Honestly, it's especially if we're going off of women logic. Men are easy. We're not masters. We're not that intelligent, as you said. So why are you getting fooled by the same men that are misleading you, that are traumatizing you, and making you feel like there are no good men out there? We are not looking for no totalitarian type of system to where a woman has to get on her hands and knees and do our every bidding. That's unrealistic. I don't know what type of fairy tale you ladies are reading, but you need to put those books down and educate yourself with women who are actually married 10 plus years. Talk to your grandmother who has been married 50 plus years and see what they're doing to make their relationships better. Don't come up here trying to make it seem as if all men are bad. If you hate men that bad, date your own date your own sex. Or I'm just keeping it a bean. Date your own sex because we're not complaining about you women who hate men this bad. If you hate us that bad, that's cool. But one thing for sure, we're not going to sit up here and project our traumas onto a generalized topic. And I'll close there.
I got pushback for you, friend. So are you saying that you believe that I got you next, Prosperity? Melly? Are you saying that a healthy relationship requires submission? Because I see women in the comments saying it doesn't. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, love.
No. Go ahead.
No. You weren't done with your full statement. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, do you think that a successful relationship or marriage, thank you, requires submission? Because there are women in the comments saying that they are happily married and have been, and they didn't need to submit.
Okay,
So
cool.
that assertion.
Got you. So what I would say to that is two things could be true at the same time. Of course, there's going to be women out there who are exceptions to the rule. And that's your dynamic of your relationship. What I'm saying is it's irresponsible to take one side of a situation and make it the majority for all situations. There are people out there who are submitting on both sides of the relationship, men and women. Because if you know what a true leader is, a leader knows how to take guidance. Just as she was saying earlier, that's 100% correct. But the thing is, what man are you dealing with that don't want to take guidance from you? Because that's a clear red flag that he is not a true leader. You are not putting a true leader in leadership. That's just what the reality is. And I'm so sorry that you have to deal with garbage men like that because me and Sons talked about this earlier. I hate men equally as well. The amount of men that I've had as friends growing up, I can count up on probably one palm, sweetheart. So I'm all with you with the men doing the weird shit out here. But I really dislike when women come up here and generalize as if all men are like this. And I'm sorry, but you just never experienced that man.
But what did we talk about earlier as well, Locke? We talked about the concept of it's all until it's none and why women would feel like I need to, all of y'all are 96%. We're gonna go back to my stat that, I like to say 96% of violent crimes are committed by men. So as a woman, I'm the weaker species. I'm not as dominant. Why would I give a man the benefit of the doubt? Why would I allow him to overlord me? Which is essentially when y'all say submission. I know you don't believe this, but when we hear that, typically it ends up sounding like being my overlord. Why would I trust a man to do that when they have proven to not be trustworthy en masse? And that's why I always say it is all of them until it is none. I know great men. We all know great men, but we all know terrible men. And the stats show that it's more likely to be a terrible man than to be a good man. I think this ties into what we were talking about earlier. Can you see that point?
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, when you really look at, okay, so if we're looking at this from a logical standpoint, right? So turn our emotions off, use logic. Women outnumber men like what? At this point now in 2026, I think it's like close to 20-1. So of course you're going to run into more men that are going to be buttholes than good guys because that's not that many men than you think there is anyways. What I'm saying is some of these instances can be completely isolated. And I understand that, yeah, when you look at the percentage of violent crimes, yeah, I understand that whole narrative and that whole statistic as well. But I'm also saying that just as well as you can say there's bad men, there are good men out there as well, too. And not too many women are advocating for that side because guess what? If there's so many women out there having issues finding good men, right? So for the women who have discernment and the women who can vet, how about put more energy into helping your fellow sisters finding that good man, especially if you have one? Because it's not that hard to identify when you know what a good man is. Like if you, like I'm saying, like I understand where y'all coming from, but in the same sense, you got to take self accountability, because if he's showing certain traits that doesn't exemplament what a leader is as a man, there's no way you should be staying with that man to find out what's going to happen. Guess what? You play dumb games, you're going to get dumb prizes. Like you literally have the choice to leave. So once that man gives you the ick, the red flag, whatever you want to call it, that's at your power, your discrepancy to walk away and say, I don't trust your leadership. I'm going to find someone I feel better suited to lead me because you aren't that. And leave it at that.
But we
Oh, just real quick. He said 20 to 1. That's an insane number, right? For every 106 men born, 100 women are born. Generally, globally speaking, it's about like what, 51% of women and 49% of men. Like you don't outnumber so drastically. 20 to 1 would be crazy.
Was that all you
That
wanted to
was
say,
I
Athana?
wasn't being literal. That was an exaggeration, by the way. It's like 10 and 1.
Okay.
10 to 1.
But I mean, did you hear her ratio? 106 to 100. And I don't know if you're speaking in this country or globally, but globally, it's actually more men. It's like barely, but it's more globally. It is, I believe it's 50.3%.
Yeah, slightly more men, yeah.
Like slightly more men in the world. I'll have to verify it, but it's very, very small. Yeah, it's very, very small, but there are more men in the world, globally speaking. I know in this country that's not the case, but globally.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. Like, that's why I said, like, as far as this information, can we stay within the topic? Like, why are we talking about what's going on outside the country? Like, this topic is, it can be put on a general sense, but we don't live a third world country life. We don't live a European life. We don't live a Russian life. Like, we're in the United States of America. Can we keep it within that realm
Yeah,
instead of
so
speaking
it
for
says here in the
experiences?
USA, women slightly outnumber men, making up about
Okay, then finish it down.
50.5%. 50.5% in the USA. So like slightly, by like 0.5%.
Prosperity. I know you wanted to go. Go ahead.
Whew, thank you.
Of course.
So I wanted to give your other panelists the opportunity to talk, but I want to say this, and the whole I don't want to trigger you, put your ears on, that's just gaslighting, right? And that's almost being condescending. But I do want to say this. I may step on some toes. The last two men, I've heard nothing but emotions. We jump off of mute and say, well, if y'all all men and y'all talking about, are you making people think all men bad? Nobody said anything about men being bad in this entire conversation. We're talking about a biblical construct principle that is not working in today's society. Why isn't it working? Because men have used it and taken advantage of women. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that don't have a relationship. I'm just saying the submission part. Why is it necessary? Why is it so important to you all? Why is it? Why is it so, oh, I want to be, and this other gentleman who have no idea how God works comes up and says something, and I won't even speak to that because he's not here. I didn't notice he wasn't here. But the whole emotions, I'm just going to get up and leave. God don't work like that. And I'm going to suggest that every woman, if you're going to date a man who beats you upside the head with God, 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 you better know God for yourself, because God don't work like that. He's not going to tell you to get up and leave your family. That's asinine and it's emotional. And so this is ridiculous. I won't ever, don't be telling all these women that all men, when did we say all? When did we say anything about men and, oh, they bad, they do this? Never. We're just asking you, why is it so necessary to you that you get somebody to submit to you? We're saying that submission is not working. We're not talking about you personally, and that's all emotion. I get so tired of hearing you all talk about us and tell us we're so emotional, and then the next sentence, everything you say is in emotions. None of it was factual. And it's getting to be ridiculous. But no, we're not up here. We're not hating men. We're not talking about our own personal advice. And as far as talking to our grandmothers and our aunties, we've already done that. And they told us to not even marry at all. So just so that you know what go on at our tables when we're talking to our grandmothers and our aunties, they're telling us not to marry you all at all. And let me just be real. There's a lot of women who would rather sit at home with 15 cats than to marry one of you. That's just what's going on. But you all don't hear us when we're talking because you're so steadfast on what you want and how it's supposed to be that you're not even listening to women when we have these conversations. These conversations are to discuss what we feel and what's really happening. And then you come back to the table. Well, if you hate men, that's gaslighting, right? Oh, well, you should, all the men you do. No, I have wonderful men in my life. I could never hate a man. You literally just said that you hated men. I'll never say that. I know too many phenomenal ones to say that I would hate a man. But you did. You just said you hated men. And then you're going to project on us.
Okay, well, I think we need to use listening skills. I said I hate men that be on weird shit, ma'am. I specified what type of men I dislike, and just like you ladies are up here speaking with passion, so am I. So I don't think that you can definitively say that men are up here speaking in emotion unless you can articulate how and how it makes sense when you're doing the same thing on the opposite end, sweetheart.
I think, darling, like we never accused.
Let's
Wait,
keep
wait,
respect on the
wait,
table.
wait. Let's allow Prosperity to respond. That was directly to her.
I'm not your sweetheart. Let's put that on the table, okay? Don't ever call me that again. But here's the
Sorry.
thing. I didn't say emotions. Like, I'm speaking in passion, and you have every right to do that. But I'm saying what you said, all the things. You never heard us say we hated men. So you to say that we hate men is emotional. You felt that. You didn't hear it. You felt it, right? You didn't hear it. No, we
Incorrect.
never said it. No, we said we hated men. Did we say that?
That's what I'm gonna be honest. Hold on. That is something that the comments are saying, and you said there's no man bashing happening. I don't do that here, so I don't. I do think it gets a little bit. Y'all don't like it when facts get presented, and it does because. And this is what I was doing to you earlier. Prosperity is truly like where I want to be. She's gonna keep hitting you with facts. And it's never disrespectful. It's always gonna be kind. But I haven't heard, because I would stop it. I do think Prairie was gonna let you know, because Prairie just gonna let you know. But Prosperity truly has not man bashed. I think she said facts.
Okay, so
Can you
hold
tell
on
me
real quick.
where?
But how are you gonna interrupt?
So
See, that's
look,
the thing. You operate in emotion. She was still talking, and then you jumped in. That's
ma'am,
emotional.
you're
It
you're
just
you're jumping
is.
you're jumping in to defend somebody that can speak for themselves, sweetheart. That's emotional.
No, sweetheart. No,
No,
sweetheart.
no, sweetheart. Like, I'm not
Okay,
your sweetheart.
I'm sorry, but I speak how I want to sweetheart. So
No, not
I'm
to
going to
me.
woman that I
And
don't know
see,
what you
that's
want. But hey, look,
disrespectful. So
no,
you're emotional
it's
and
respectful in
disrespectful.
I'm respectful in my own light. I call everyone love and sweetheart. So if you're
Yeah,
triggered by
but
that,
I'm
I'm so
asking you
sorry that
not
you're
to.
triggered by
And
that.
so for you to
Okay,
not
cool. I
respect
want to
my
respond to what
wishes,
she
that's
said.
disrespectful.
Okay,
It's
cool.
disrespectful. So
And
you're disrespectful and emotional.
calling me
I got
emotional
it.
when you don't know me is disrespectful because you don't know me from a can of paint.
But
And
I'm
guess what?
listening to you
Quite
talk.
frankly, quite
Okay, I'm
frankly,
sorry.
you know.
You're not emotional,
Okay, is
but you've
this a
been
back and
emotional in
forth
this
or can I talk?
conversation. I'm sorry.
You don't know my emotions, so you can't speak for me. Speak for yourself.
But you
And
attempted
we
to
can
speak for.
leave it out there. We can leave it at that. But one thing that was said that definitely was man hate was there are no leaders out there when there are leaders out there who are leading their marriage right now, leading their
Okay, so
relationships right now. That's irresponsible to say, and you're trying to generalize all relationships by speaking in that terminology. If you're going to say that there's a decent portion of men who aren't leaders, say that. Don't say men as if the whole entire race of men are not leaders.
I
That's
don't
what
know,
I'm saying.
host. Do you remember
Can
me
I can I
saying?
can I
I
finish? Can I
apologize.
finish, or are we gonna keep over
Let
talking?
him land. Let him land. Let him land.
So the point that, and this, I'm not the first gentleman that said this. There was another gentleman that chimed in and told y'all the way that y'all are generalizing these words are making it as if y'all are targeting all men, and we are rebuttaling saying you need to watch the wording because it is offensive when you say men because it sounds too general. You need to specify the group you're talking about versus making it seem as if it's a general thing that all men do,
But
and that's
that's
incorrect.
so. But that's why I made the comment. It's all until it's none. That was my rebuttal to you for that. Go ahead, Prosperity.
So can I just say this really quick? That's a lack of we deal listen, we deal with a lack of education. Like for real. Like really. Here's the thing. Man is one person, men is two or more people.
Yeah, respectfully, I'm gonna
Man
drop
is
you over
and
panel,
you
bro, because I'm
talking
not gonna keep
and right,
taking
have a
the
good
slick,
day. Have a good day, baby.
the
Have a good
little
day, hon.
slick ass
Have a
comments
good
and
day,
shit like
hon.
that, and
So
speaking
here's
down
the
on
thing.
men.
Here's the thing.
That's what I'm
Here's the
talking about.
thing, son.
That's
See,
exactly what
that's
I'm talking about.
emotional. See? You see the emotions?
You
You
know
see
what?
it?
Don't worry about it.
Did you see
Yeah,
it? Did you see the
it's
emotions?
emotional.
It's
You are
hilarious to
so
me.
correct.
It's
You can drop
hilarious
me
to
low.
me. I'm gonna go
You
on
can drop
mute.
me low. I'm
Lock.
just saying this is literally what I was
Emotional.
talking about
Super
earlier.
emotional.
When a man tried to tell y'all what the like
Yes,
there's clearly
son,
a
I was still
there's
talking.
clearly
I was still
sweetheart,
talking and you overtalked
like
me.
genuinely I
And
don't
that's just
care.
all right,
Okay.
hon. I
The thing
understand
Okay.
that.
is you
Okay.
don't want to
I
listen to
understand that.
reason.
I
You don't
My
want to
understand.
listen to reason.
But I was
And the
still
thing is
talking
we're
and you
not
I was
getting
still
nowhere.
talking
Sweetheart, and you keep
emotional,
and guess
but you're
what? You
not.
keep over talking. You keep over talking.
no, 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 no. Oh no. Thank you. Thank you. I thought you were just going to mute Prosperity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Gravity. Okay. You both aren't hearing each other. Lock. Do you do that was for both of y'all because I was talking. Lock, I think you are we had this conversation earlier. He dropped. We had this conversation earlier and I shared a lot of these thoughts with him. So and we went head to head then. So I hate that he was upset by that conversation. I didn't want him to be upset. I actually think, and I know you can hear me, Locke. For one, you were getting the most heat because frankly, you are the most intelligent man on the panel that was actually speaking. That is just the reality. But I will say, generally speaking, I don't really understand why men won't admit these very simple facts. Like they're very simple facts, and I think we could get a lot further. And I know he was giving a male's point of view. But in this particular conversation, is submission power or weakness? I do think at the end of the day, we get to speak on that. I totally understand. Thank you. I totally understand why men would say it's power. But then when we're giving you, hey, the definition is not. Locke, can you please come back up? I would love for you to come back up. But I do think that when we are presenting facts and when we are saying these things, we're not saying it to bring men down. We're saying it because it is simply just true. It is. It's true. Men are less educated. Our men are less educated than our women. Our men, okay, there he is. Our men have not proven to be effective leaders. They haven't proven to be effective leaders. Does that mean that there are not great leaders within our community? Absolutely not. Doesn't mean that. But it does mean they have not proven to be effective leaders. So I would like for the men to be able to accept that and own that. And then you can tell us in your sentiments, and you know I hate this sentiment, pick better. Because then I could turn around to men and say pick better as well. Pick someone who actually will give you what you want. I don't like the pick better argument that men present because men can put on a mask. So, because I really wanted to address that when you said it initially. They can put on a mask, and they will put on a mask for a year, 6 years, 10 years. They do it. They will do it. There are men who have been in happy marriages, 5 years in, they have a baby, all of a sudden he's a terrible husband. Like, that is just the reality. And when women say submission is not power, it is by definition weakness, and it's dangerous for women, I like that take. And I like that take simply because, and someone said boys wear masks. Sure, whatever you want to call it, boys, men, whatever. We can't tell the difference between you two. But I do think that there's something to be said if we're saying that it is dangerous for a woman to be submissive. I know that you're providing the male point of view, and I appreciate it, but I also need you to hear the woman's point of view and why there's so much pushback. And I need you to also hear I keep driving home it's until, oh gosh, I'm losing my train of thought. It is all of them until it is none, because that is, to me, the sentiment of all the women that, yeah, there's good ones, but until we can see proof, like real hard proof, numbers, then it is all of them. And we will speak of them all with a broad spectrum. Like, does that make sense? Y'all can go ahead and speak. I don't know who wanted to speak first.
I would say that I do respect, hearing, the male side, right? And, lots of points I do agree with you. I understand, right? But the points where I think maybe we disagree, I think, the ladies in general as well, it's not because we don't understand. We just kind of like disagree because, of course, we have our perspective as women, right? And I feel that, like, no one here said it's us all men or whatnot. In fact, I said objectively, in general, right, not everybody's competent. And what I based that on is that the average person has an average IQ, right? And that's the majority, the average, right? And that wasn't just to bash men specifically or to say that, like, oh, that's a personal thing. It's an objective fact, right? And I feel that, like, if you want women to, like, listen to the men's perspective and whatnot, I don't think it's, like, conducive to when, you respond, you essentially make out, like, say, like, we don't know what we're talking about, you've just been around bad individuals and whatnot. I'm literally married, right? You know nothing about, like, a lot of the women on this panel, right? We're talking in general, right? And yes, most guys don't work in leadership positions and whatnot, right? Most women also don't work in those positions, right? And I think when we're saying, like, a host say, oh, it's all, because you don't know which men are competent to who aren't competent, right? You could same thing with women, where she can seem competent for the first 6-7 months, and then you realize, oh, actually she's making these bad decisions. But it's something that can take time, right? Sometimes you notice it straight away, or people can put on a front and whatever. And that's not to bash men, that's just a general, like, observation. And you can have faulty generalizations, right? But you can also have valid generalizations and statistical generalizations. So, again, I'd love to hear your perspective, but I think it's very hard when all of the women's perspectives is being pushed down and shoved as if we're not allowed to have a perspective on submission, and that the only perspective that is the correct one is the man's perspective.
Well, thank you for letting me speak again, Psalms. I just want to say this. I was accused of having a disrespectful mouth. And I don't think that any time I've been disrespectful at all. What I did was return the energy. When I'm told that I'm not going to be respected, then sometimes I'll get a little petty and return the disrespect. If I ask someone to do something, to stop doing something to me that they're doing, and then they tell me they're not going to do it, that's disrespectful, right? So then that means I might tap into my petty bag and give it back. We don't like it when it's given back, right? But we don't care. So what I was saying is that I'm not up here saying, oh, I hate all men. I have amazing men in my life, right? But what I am speaking is for the majority, and that's what these conversations are about. They're general. And so when men usually say things like, I don't know who hurt y'all, or, just because y'all hurt, that's a jab, right? And that's an emotional jab to the women. It doesn't bother me, but I do know the intent behind it. Just because we're talking about majority and we're talking about general situations in our community does not mean that it directly affects us. You have married women who are talking on these topics, who've been in relationships for 10, 20, 30 years, who are still speaking to the problem, right? And if you're not a part of the problem, then why are we taking offense to it? Like, we can't have a conversation? And that's what it's for. And
I
many
don't
people
really
are not going
think
to like
that
my take.
anybody's.
I'm sorry.
Lacey, let her land, please.
I thought she was.
I
If I
don't
heard
think that
Paul.
anybody is here to like bash anybody, but we do have a right to talk about it. And I thought that's what it was about. And a lot of men are not going to like my take because I'm not going to be nice about it and soft spoken about it. I'm going to give you the facts and you do with it what you will. That's it.
I just feel like when he was talking, instead of him being like his point of view being acknowledged, it was just a straight attack. And that's really hard to have a conversation with somebody and you're just solely being attacked. It's not even a conversation. It's not even
Exa-
really a debate. It's just dismissive.
Is exactly
Can you tell
you
me?
was contradictive. You was contradictive with what you just said.
Okay, I can learn. Tell me
Sir,
when,
you can
and I can
we
tell
just want to know the definition to combative.
Lacey, would you say that like starting off your submission with like, like don't get in your feelings, don't get butthurt, but I
Yeah.
don't even know, like that literally, how can you expect if that's how you're starting it, right? Some of you ladies just, you ain't never had no good man. How are we supposed to then listen to them as perspective if that's passive aggression, right? Because he's talking to the ladies who have spoken, right? But being indirect. Like I get what you're saying, Lisa, I agree, but it's gonna be hard to then acknowledge what he's saying about the man's perspective if he's starting off his submission like just
But
assuming things
that's
about.
also his opinion, just like y'all are sharing y'all's
Hold on,
opinion.
Lacey, because
Like I see your point, but
there were jabs, and I think I'm gonna be totally honest. I think sometimes they're unintentional jabs. I think the sweetheart comment set prosperity off. I think and I'm not gonna lie, friend, when you said most women aren't gonna want to hear this, I think that'll automatically just hit them with it, because I know for a fact you weren't intending to come off passive aggressive, but it comes off that way. It comes off a little bit if we're using it. Excuse me?
yeah, but every other word
They're triggers. Yeah.
What's it that triggers?
like Oksana is addicted to cutting him off.
Who?
Oksana is addicted to cutting him off.
I will say,
That's
yeah.
annoying. And it's like, I know that if I'm in that situation, I'm not going to keep on being able to like control that. And it was like every other word. And for this, and even I'm sitting in the comments like, can you please like shut up, like let him finish, because I wanted to see where he was going with it. Like they get frustrated. So it's little stuff like that too. So that's why I was justifying the jabs, because it's like, yeah, like.
And I do, and
Hold on, I'm sorry. You were justifying his jabs to me because it's her cutting him off? Because he
No,
jabbed
to
me.
Oksana,
I asked him
sweetheart. No, I heard that. I said I specifically said Oksana.
And I let it slide. Y'all know I let women rule. So, and I let it slide, and Locke, I let you slide. I let you slide because I could have checked some of them, because I heard it, but I didn't because I also knew you didn't mean any harm by it. But I can't control what the other ladies feel. I knew you meant no harm by it. I know Locke is a good guy. But I also know that's why Locke goes hard for good guys. But we talked about this earlier. Not all guys are good.
I'm not trying to cut you off, and I appreciate you letting me join, but this person's talking about step up and challenge. I'm not scared of nobody. I'm not understanding this sex world. Whatever you want to talk about, let's talk.
Okay, what are you? Okay, no. What are you actually doing? Why is your face on my screen? And why are you speaking to me without me introducing myself? What the
Oh my God.
what the fuck are you doing? Sorry, Prosperity.
Oh, who is that?
I
Oh,
don't know. It was a
I
burly
that scared me a
bear. It
little
was
bit.
scary. It was actually terrifying. It just scared me. Please don't do that
It
again.
needed a
Go away.
mother.
Ugh. You're not welcome here. Put the bears away.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to
I'm
listening.
sorry. You're good, babe. Locke, I do I want you to know I I shot bail on both sides. I played it fair. I really did play it fair. But and like I said, we can talk after about some of the things that I think were a little bit touchy and where I do think your message might have got lost because I understood what you were saying. I think the other ladies understood what you were saying. But I do think sometimes you went a little bit, what's the patronizing? That's the word I'm looking for. Is that the word? Ladies, can y'all tell me, is that what it felt like?
Yeah, condescending, yeah.
Patronizing, condescending. But I also know you didn't mean to come off that way. Prosperity, is that the vibe you were getting? Because I want you to understand what we're saying. That way you can appropriately address it. Prosperity, is that the vibe you were getting?
Yeah, I got condescending a few times. Yeah.
And I actually can comfortably say I don't believe that was his intention.
Locke was on defense mode. I'm gonna speak for him.
Locke,
he was on defense mode.
Yeah.
So reason to be defensive because nobody was talking to him and he just came off and did that. But okay, I won't say nothing else. I'm gonna yield my time to BG if I could.
So I'm gonna just keep it a bean, and you can agree, you can disagree. It really doesn't matter to me at this point. I'm standing on my stance. Men are not protected in this conversation. If you realize all of the men that could have represented in this conversation have left because they understand that they're not going to get a point in, and even when we give our viewpoint, there's attacks. There's immediate attacks. Oh, you're emotional. Oh, you're this. You're this. You're that. Not
Agreed.
once did I personally attack nobody in this conversation until I was attacked first. And the whole entire time since I first joined your panel, every woman in this panel has been cutting me off and literally shitting on my ideals as soon as they come out of my lips. If you do not agree, you do not have to respond. You do not have to listen, quite frankly. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to sit here and allow these ladies to sit over here and shit on men in this general sense. But as soon as I talk on women in a general sense, now it's a trigger. Now he's sensitive. Oh, look at this. He's attacking women. He's this, he's that. That's literally irresponsible. We're having a general conversation. So if they can sit over here and make these condescending, slick little underbreath little comments that they're making every time somebody is speaking, why is it that you're checking the men but you're not checking the ladies? Which is why women feel like they don't give a damn. You feel unheard, but you're literally doing the things that you say men are doing to make you feel unheard. That's literally that's being a hypocrite, bro. That's hypocritical. It's not keeping it even on both ends of the table. And I feel like if we're going to keep it general, let's keep it general. Let's not sit up here and attack men because that's what it was. It was an attack on men. Simple. And I said before I said my statement, if you're going to get triggered, you might want to close your ears. Don't even listen. And immediately the ladies getting triggered, and now we getting all this insult and all this back and forth, and oh, your education are failing us. Like, these are insults. I'm not going to sit here and be insulted, especially when I'm an intellectual man that can articulate himself very well. I speak very well. I'm very conscious, and I am educated. So that's why I'm giving so much pushback, because you can't antagonize a man and belittle a man and call it something else because you don't see it that way. Just if a man is sitting here telling you that's disrespectful to him, that's where you women lack the direction. If you want respect, you need to give it up on both ends of the table. So if I'm telling you that you're disrespecting me, constantly cutting me off, why would I care about what you telling me not to do when I'm constantly
The same reason
you?
why I asked you to
Look,
stop
you
calling
doing
me
it
something
now.
and
You're
you did
doing
it
it
anyway.
now. Like,
Exactly
I'm
why.
gone. I'm gone.
Oh boy.
This is the shit I'm talking about. It's not safe here. I'm good.
I'm out. Have a good night. Appreciate the panel. I'm out too.
Host, were we bashing? 'Cause I don't think we were bashing. I think that's where the confusion
I
is.
think So, okay, I'll tell you what I think. I'll be very blunt about what I think. I think that the men who don't fit the stereotypes that unfortunately are reality, it is hurtful to them. Like let's be real. Let's be real. Just like it's hurtful to us when they say things about us that we know we don't fit into. It's hurtful. And I totally understand. And again, because I have conversations with Locke, I understand exactly where he's coming from. He is an educated man. He has done very well for himself. So I think it's frustrating. It's extremely frustrating. But I also think that they don't like to hear the truth. And I'm sorry. I expect men to bend the knee and just say, yep, that's true about most men, not me. And then give your answer. Like, I don't understand why that is so hard. I do not understand why that's so hard. I do understand why Locke got upset. I do. I understand both sides. I don't think that he was personally attacked. I did hear Prosperity say men are not as educated as women. I did not hear her say you. She did say we need to read more. She did not say you, we, you, them. Like it wasn't direct. I think she was and Prosperity is very intentional about how she speaks. So that I was listening. She really did not make any, and she doesn't make personal attacks. She doesn't talk about her personal life. These are Prosperity goals.
I think that's why, like, it wasn't triggering or whatever, because I think for me, I don't know, for Prosperity as well, I'm thinking, who is he talking about? Who said any of these things? And it was literally like almost like a 4-minute like rant about, oh, your personal life, this, it's like, when did any of that happen? So it wasn't like triggering at all. It's just kind of like, bro, wait, did you just go on a 4-minute rant about things that no one said? So it's kind of annoying because no one attacked him personally. No one said it was all men this, all men that. Right? I think we're at a point where we should be able to say, oh yes, BLK people live in Africa. That obviously doesn't then mean that all of the BLK people only live in Africa, right? I thought we were at a point where we don't have to say some every single time, where we refer to something. Clearly we're referring to, those who it applies to and that particular set of men. And yeah, I'm sorry if you felt attacked, but boy.
All right. So we are going to introduce a new panelist. We're going to go at this for about 30 more minutes, y'all, and then we're going to get out of here. So new panelists, I want to hear all your thoughts. I know that Sweet's been up here for a minute. BPG, thank you so much for joining. I have heard you talk on Prosperity's panel. I'm so excited to hear. Roxy, thanks so much for joining again. I'm so sorry I didn't get to you. Trapple and I am Kings. All right, that's the order we're going to go in. Sweet, you kick us off. Address the prompts and anything you've heard. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm probably one of the few women who do feel like submission is power. I'm a Christian, right? So I believe in Jesus. I see submission as a choice. It's a humble act, and it's serving a better good. But I don't even think it's just in the concept of women or men. It's just in how you choose to behave for the greater good of humanity and society, right? Like, you could be submissive to your neighbor, right? You could be submissive to your partner, but I do think it takes a certain strength because you're choosing to lay it down. I serve a Lord who laid down his life for me, so I base it all off of that. I say that to say this: the problem comes when people are not equally yoked. Most women feel like submission is an abuse of power because most men lack leadership qualities. And I'm not going to say most, but what you see being promoted in society. I think the biggest question is, why is submission a big conversation amongst the Black community, right? Like other demographics, that's not a real conversation for them because it's like a society norm where men know to provide and have leadership for women to be safe. I like the concept of soft girl life. Like I like the concept of a man providing for his family where a woman don't have to consider older bills or oh, this, and she can do what she want. I like that concept. Me personally, I know, I know it may not be the popular opinion. Women should be able to pursue what they want, but I think under, if a man could submit to his family, to God, and be that overhead and that protection, women should live a soft life. And yeah, submission works if that's the concept, but most of the time it's not. So I see why a lot of women feel that way. And that's all I got.
Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate your thoughts. We welcome all thoughts here. Alrighty, BPG, I'm excited to hear this. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
So I am one of those women. I don't believe that that submission is power. And I do think that based on the definition, submitting to an authority, which I'm pretty sure that somebody probably already mentioned this at some point, submitting to a higher authority is the purpose of submission. It is that you are you have classified this person as bigger, stronger, more intelligent, all of the things. And this is why you are submitting to them as your authority. And I think that a lot of women have fallen victim to the ideas of submission, and it's left them in a space where they don't have the ability to care for themselves or for their children. And we've seen this throughout history where women have quote unquote submitted to men, and they've lost not only themselves, but they've lost, their lives quite literally from submitting to men. I will say it's ironic that when it comes to the submission that men have, it is always to God. And, the irony of that is that they're submitting to a power that can strike them at the end of life, whereas women are submitting to a power that can strike them quite literally every day. And I think that that's the bigger issue. You can punch me in the face every single day for your entire life, and your punishment for that is at the end of your life you get punishment. But I think that there's this concept of testing the frame where women are supposed to be held responsible for the men that they choose, and it's testing the frame, but it's also tied into sexual solipsism, where women are essentially charged for the men that they choose. So whatever harm that they that is enacted on them is the result of the men that they choose. But if men are supposed to be the leaders, then at one point are they responsible for the type of leadership that they hold? And if they aren't responsible for that, then they aren't responsible leaders.
I love it. I love it. Hi, Roxy. Thank you so much for coming back. Welcome, welcome. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the prompts and anything you've heard if you have time. If not, we'll go into open panel.
Thank you. I was hesitant to return because I'm trying to keep myself even keel in this conversation.
Right.
But for me, I really can't engage with submission as a topic because I believe it to be archaic, outdated, from another time and place, and that's where it belongs. It's 2026. We don't practice these types of things anymore because we've evolved as a human race. I don't understand people who want to pretend it's 1802. I'm sorry. It's 2026. We have never had more faster access to information in our lifetime. There is no reason for people in 2026 to be ignorant and not educated. The information is there for us to access. If relationships are unique to the people involved, no one person dictates all relationships. If you want to play those head games in your relationship, that's fine. But to make demands upon other people or say this is the way it should be and everybody should be acting like that is absolutely ridiculous. I'm loving your live and your panel. I was loving all the action that was going on. But these guys that were up here were working way too hard to prove they're good men or that their good men exists. We are well aware of the good men. You know why? Good men don't run around screaming, I'm a good man, or good men exist. Their actions speak for them. And the fact that this guy was trying so hard to the point of being disrespectful and condescending proves he was not a good man. A good man doesn't need to disrespect women and be as condescending. I mean, the sweetheart. We all read that. the whole tone, the whole thing. It was
I promise he actually literally does call everyone sweetheart and love. That's
yes,
why
but
it
did he
sucked.
I
But
did not did you hear it before that?
he was saying it the whole time. He was actually, I thought she was going to catch it much earlier, and she didn't. And I was like, ooh, Prosperity's being nice.
Well,
she's being nice in my panel.
I
I
wasn't
thought she
on
was going to catch it much earlier, but and I don't know if it's because maybe the context of what he was saying changed, but he was saying it the entire time because he truly does speak that way. But I thought Prosperity was going to nip that in the butt, the first sweetheart, and say, don't call me that. I want her. That's why when she
I will
immediately
take
said
it
it,
back. I was in the comments for quite some time and I had never heard him say the word sweetheart and the way that he said it. If you say that, I believe you.
it was the
And
way it
I will.
changed. He changed the way it sounded genuine for a long time. And then it just, it had a little sweetheart. It had a little tone to it eventually. And then she caught it when he added that tone. He does actually speak that way. That's
Okay.
why I was letting him rock. But I was very surprised that Prosperity let it go.
Oh, so he was being condescending. I'm British, right? And we say, okay, darling, all right, babe, right? Like, do you know what I mean? He was like, all right, sweetheart, right? Like, he was like, but it was subtle, right? And
It was
oh no,
so
I didn't mean
subtle.
it. But as Brits, right, we do that, right? Oh, all right, yeah, go ahead, darling. All right, babe, right? And especially if like we haven't been calling you that for however long, right? But literally kind of being condescending. We're trying to be like, yeah, all right, babe, all right, babs. Like,
But
come on.
also the making up of the numbers correlating to helping him prove his points of the ratio of men to women. I ran off and I Googled it. Somebody else Googled it. You knew the stats yourself. When did he say, okay, I was wrong? When did he say that?
He
He
did
said,
not.
but he
He
says,
just
I'm
said I was.
And he
exaggerating.
will
He said
not.
I'm exaggerating. Yeah.
And he will not.
And then he said, oh no, it's more like 1 in 10. I was like, no, it's not. Like, you're just making numbers up.
And at this point, we know he's not going to be honest. He's not going to be open. He's not ready to have the genuine conversation that we all want to have. Now, women are up here. This is basically what this whole gender war situation appears to be to me. Women are up here speaking their truths, and men react with a gender war. They won't. Our so-called protectors and leaders don't even attempt a solution. They made a war about it. They cry about it. They minimize us. They call us names. They insult us. Anything but actually have the conversation. They will not open themselves up. They will not be honest. They will not be. And there's one or two that do. They are not playing games. They are actual men. They are intelligent evolved human beings. This is all we're asking for. And apparently that's too much. We just want you to be a decent human being and have the conversation. And they can't. They deflect every which way they possibly can. Just have the conversation with us. They cannot. They cannot be that open and honest and have the genuine conversation. They make up anything to deflect. And it's a sad thing to see. I really hate to see. And it's so many, it's so few actual, real, good, intelligent, decent human beings. And, with women's evolving, we are evolving leaps and bounds above men. Now, I know girls and we're faster developers and I'm assuming this is why we're evolving faster. I don't know. I don't know why men are not evolving and catching up with it. But, women are we're all turning into sapiosexuals where, intelligence is really attracting us and turn around to see the ignorance. We're surrounded by it. It's disheartening. I mean, what's left to do?
I agree. We have one more new panelist, and then we're gonna open up. Hi, Tropical.
Man, I just want to let y'all know Blackie Chan said nothing wrong. He's freaking straight facts. Y'all just got pressed because he couldn't.
Prove the point. Prove the point.
It's open panel.
Thank you for having me up. I appreciate you. And I really do. I respect everything you've been saying. I like how you run your panel. Thank you for this space and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much. Unless anybody, if we have closing thoughts, Prosperity, I would like to hear your closing thoughts.
So I want to first of all apologize to you for coming off mute. I apologize, like
You are fine.
sincerely. I truly and honestly apologize. Um, it's one thing I want to say. I didn't hear the sweetheart, but I'm more so I can hear the intent behind words, right? And so if I know it's harmless, most times I won't check it. But when it's condescending and it's got a little flair on it, then I stop it, right? And so that's probably why I didn't say anything earlier if I had heard it. But I know a lot of intelligent men, right? And this is where I might be a little petty, just a little bit. But I didn't encounter one today. And I'm going to tell you why. Because intelligent is like you have to have the mental capacity to easily learn. And nobody was willing to learn up here. Okay? Nobody. So I can say I heard some articulate men, but I cannot say I encounter any intelligent man, right? And here's the thing. When I say emotional, I want to explain why I say that they were emotional. Because when you're emotional, you'll say that something was said that wasn't because you're in your emotions. You felt that, but you didn't hear it. And both of the men did that, you know. And I just believe that every time he came off mute, he was in emotions, and it was almost like whining. I didn't say that, but that's what I meant. You know, it was like, well, y'all bashing, y'all hit. None of that was happening. It was only how he felt. And so in my opinion, he was emotional. And so that's what it went. I do want to apologize. I did not mean to be in no uproar on your panel. But
These people
kind of
like
got
the
to me
drama.
a little bit.
No, these people like the drama, Prosperity. We're not as civilized as you are over here. We cuss on this panel a little
Your
bit.
panel, your way. I'm
Yeah.
here to support you, whatever you got going on. I'm here. If I'm here, I'm here. But I just wanted to say that I didn't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm gonna always speak in truth. I'm gonna always address things that I feel that should be addressed. And I felt like that emotions and him literally leading this entire conversations in his emotions and his logic was not home. And for Lacey or anyone else who may have thought that I was this, that man came off mute several times and interrupted me several times, as he did everybody else. So I just wanted to say that.
I feel like it was
I
a,
would
it was.
just
Sorry, God.
I would just love to be able to speak to men about having a open and honest conversation about, do you really think this is fair? Is this just? Do you think this is fair and just? And I can't ever get to that point because they don't even think on that level. It's me, men are this, women are that. And just, it's ridiculous. I feel like I'm speaking to a toddler. I feel like I've gone back to grade school. Every time I hear leader, I think of, oh, we're pleased. His mama sent a note. The line leader in elementary school today has to be him. It's like, it's ridiculous. And I am too old. I am way too old for this stuff. I really am. I'm sorry. But it
Line
is.
leader.
It's
It does
degrading.
give, and it gives line leader. It really,
Yes.
the
Yes.
word leader has. That's why I stand so strongly on saying you're not good leaders. Until you show me. I've seen good leadership. I had a father that was amazing, still is amazing. My uncle, amazing. But by and large, I have not seen great leadership from men.
It's not
Specifically,
gender specific. It's something, leaders do.
Cool.
It
You
doesn't,
learned.
it's not gender, belongs to one gender. It's not belonging to that. And this whole myth about, this is men and this is what men do and this is a woman, and just that whole gender war and mentality. It's social constructs. And we've evolved beyond that. We know being your authentic self is the best possible thing you can do. And putting up this big masculinity, fake masculinity nonsense is how I just don't understand why you want to hold on to that so tightly, that myth, and that this whole, how many men, if I had $1 for every man that talks about protection as being that 3 they think about a 3 a.m. break-in, and because they think about that in a loop over a 24-hour period, that actual thinking, that imagination is protection. The imaginary protection, I like to call it. That was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever heard of in my life, so I thought. But so many of them say it. Every day I hear it. It's incredible. It's like they're programmed like robots.
They are. They are. That they are.
It was sad.
Go ahead, and then Prosperity. Ladies, Sweet, BPG, did you guys have anything to say?
I did. I'm sorry. No, I did. I think that honestly, part of that too was, I hate to say it, I don't know how well you know that man, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think you were being gaslit, like honestly, and I think that happens a lot with women. Truth be told, we give men a lot more grace than they give us. If I'm honest, like as a woman, it should not take me telling you not to call me sweetheart for you to not call me sweetheart. I'm an adult. I'm an adult woman. I call my students and my children sweetheart and baby and love and all of those things. And even if that is the way that you communicate with people, once they explain to you that they don't like that, that's enough. If you tell me right now, if in the middle of the live you go to your profile page and you change your name to Anna, and I come in your space and I still call you Sums, I'm being disrespectful. Because you've asked me not to do that, because that is your preference. And as a human being, my show of respect to you is to call you what you've asked me to call you. If I call you love, sis, whatever, and you go, well, we not related, I'm not comfortable with that, the only thing that I can say is okay. And I'm not saying okay because I'm submitting to you. I'm saying okay because as a sign of show of respect for you as a human being, I respect you enough that you're giving me consent to call you one thing. It's about consent. You're consenting to me calling you this thing. That is what I call you. That's it. Point blank period. And I think with a lot of men, they confuse the attributes of what they have succeeded in as morality, and that's not the same thing. I've seen a great many good men who are literally, they feeding kids and passing out bikes and like braiding kids' hair, and they reading books to them all day long. They've, accomplished great feats and educated in all the things. And then 2 weeks later, they getting arrested for DV. These are the same exact, like they the same people. And I think that for women, the reason why I don't even believe in the concept of vetting is that our discernment is off because we live in a world that gaslights us. We live in a world that's constantly telling us, give men the benefit of the doubt. If you really think about this concept, that it only took 70% of Black households, if we're honest, the number is, and that's not true, but the number is that 70% of Black households are led by Black women, and people think that that's enough to consider all Black women to be, problematic and disarray. We single mamas, baby mamas, all of those things. But the number is 92%. I'm being generous with the 92 because I think it's 96, but 92% of violent crime that is committed across the globe is by men, and we still have to say some.
96%.
That's
my
what I'm saying.
favorite.
I'm being generous with the not, because I know there's a book that I read that says 96, and I don't know where it is. But even even within this conversation, as a woman, I'm being generous with the 92 because I know that the reference that I'm looking for isn't at the forefront of my mind. So I'm not going to place myself as an expert in that space. I'm going to still give grace, because at this point, I can't prove it to you. I know it's somewhere, but at this point, I can't prove it to you. Men's hubris is connected to this idea that we constantly have to give them the benefit of the doubt, even though when we ask ourselves, who is committing war? Who is committing rape? Who is kidnapping? I watched a story earlier about a man who unalived his wife and his daughter and was pretending to be them. You don't hear women doing that. I saw a story about a 15-year-old girl who was kidnapped, unalived by two men, raped and assaulted, trigger warning, raped and assaulted, and then left in an alley. Where are you seeing the women do that? Like, we have to, and I think that that's the part that men are trying to grapple with, is when we start, they can talk about facts so long as the fact is that women are single mothers, or that that women are getting ABs. That those are facts that they can live with and that they can digest. But when we talk about the facts that are who is raping, who is assaulting, who is harming, who is committing genocide, who is doing blue collar, white collar, dirty collar, clean collar crimes, it is overwhelmingly male. And I think that that's okay for us to admit, because the last thing I'll say is, you mentioned earlier, we can't tell the difference between the boys and the men. We can actually. Boys, I work with boys. I have 2 boys. Boys are some of the sweetest people on the planet. A little boy behaves in the way that he does because he does not know, but he can be directed. I've had boy students who I've told, hey, so you probably shouldn't be calling other girls female because it's dehumanizing. And it takes one conversation for me to tell them that. And they go, well, why would I do that? And I'm like, well, you can call a plug a male or female. You can call a giraffe a male or female. So it kind of puts girls in the same place where you're taking away their humanity, because a girl or a woman is a female human. So if you acknowledge that they're a female human, you're calling them a girl or a woman. 12 and 13-year-old boys go, okay, yeah, oh, that makes sense. Actually, I don't want to do that. I don't want to make girls feel like they giraffes. And they go, okay, and they move on. The hardest arguments I have is with grown men, 40 something, 50 something, 30 something year old men who's like, I've been calling women females my whole life. And it's like, sir, I understand that, but if women are explaining to you this is dehumanizing, it don't take people telling me not to call black men Pookies and Ray Rays to know that it's disrespectful. I don't do it because that's anti-black to me. I don't call black men boys. I know the history behind that, so I'm not going. You don't have to explain that to me more than once. However, the same isn't happening on the opposite end, and I think that that's fair to admit, and that's not on you to try to hold that bloodstained banner up to make sure that men are heard. They have to sit with those facts and deal with the reality of, like, how do we do better so that the community is better? If they don't want to do that, it's not because you wasn't being nice enough.
Someone in the comments said, or I guess y'all don't want to be called YNs. I'm going to respectfully say you are a YN until you prove otherwise.
I'm pretty sure, didn't they come up with that thing?
They did. They did. And they got mad when we took it and we said, yes, you are. You absolutely are. You are a YN until you prove otherwise. And I'm standing on that one.
And ladies, in the midst of a global femicide, it's not the time to give men the benefit of the doubt. When we know at this point in time the most dangerous person in a woman's life is her partner, it's not the time to give men benefit of the doubt. It's not. I'm sorry.
I think what's funny is that quite obviously when we're given the definition of the word, and practically every single guy who came up here was like, no, that's not what it means. Like, no, let me explain to you ladies what it means. Just like, this is the definition. They weren't even arguing with, like, us. They were arguing with the dictionary, right? Which, it makes it kind of worse. And I feel that, like, even with that lot guy, giving that random stat, it's like, what? Don't insult our intelligence. You've been condescending us, and are you insulting our intelligence by giving some nonsense stats when actually, no. Because bear in mind, he's using that, like women outnumber men to kind of justify some sort of ideology, right? And it's like, no, I won't let you do that, right? You've been trying to condescend everyone, right? Tell everyone that, you don't get it, you need to listen to... No, you're giving an opinion, and it's like, of course, that's kind of like the SLAV, master telling the BLK, right? Telling us, right? No, there's a benefit to slavery. Come on the plane. That's kind of what it was like. And it's like, of course, the individuals who benefit from the submission, right? Of course, they're going to say, oh, no, it's powerful. Come, join. But it's obviously logical for a woman to say, well, no, right? It's not always going to be a power, right? And it's one of those things where, like, he was essentially trying to tell women how they should behave. And it's like, excuse you, right? Like, you're preaching your own personal ideology and telling us we need to listen, come on, listen. You need to listen what we're saying, and you're being combative. No, darling, you're trying to tell people how to live their life, and you're giving fake numbers and kind of making things up and acting as if what you're saying is like factual and logical, right? And I'm educated. I'm educated too, mate. Right? But notice how he tried to use that. I'm educated. I think he felt like he was being like intellectually kind of attacked.
Well, as someone, I'm an intellectual elitist. I feel away when people, I'll actually say it, I hate stupid people. Hate them. Ooh, they disgust me. They disgust me on a very deep, visceral level. I can't get away from it. So I do think when smart people, when they feel like you're calling them dumb, they do get mad. And I do think that is what he thought was happening, but I was very conscious and listening. It was general statements made. It was not directed at him. And again, I might have missed it. I'm a human, but I was very, very careful to pay attention. Prosperity, you are going to close us out. Cam is playing live. If you are, hey Jaja, if you want to go see some foolishness, he'll probably be running an insane prompt. But Prosperity, close us out, please. Thank you so much for coming again.
Oh, thank you. I want to just say this, BPG, I enjoy listening to you speak. I do. I also want to say, and to speak to the 12-year-olds, those are intellects. They're intelligent because they're able to receive it, right? Process it, and then maneuver in a different way. And that's what I call intelligent, right? So, and just, I just want to hit on the gentleman. The entire time that I spoke, I called them gentlemen.
You did.
Right? I literally refer to them as gentlemen, right? Now, if I hate you, I don't respect you, right? If I hate you, and that's why I say he was speaking in emotions, because everything he spoke on was something that was never said and it was never brought up. And I do just want to say this one little thing. The way that they use God to beat women over the head with submission is ridiculous. Just like the gentleman, the married gentleman, well, I'll just leave and I'll just go on about my business. No, that's not a good leader. And that right there is a really good example of they have no idea how to lead, even in God. Because as a leader, if you believe it in the word and how it goes, your job is to continue to pray that God changes your wife's heart if it's going to be changed, or if you're walking in the right way. You don't get up and leave your family. I'm gone. That's not a leader. So I just wanted to say that this entire conversation was like, they refused to hear the definition. They were not listening to anything that we said. They were only listening to respond, and they weren't even listening. They were just waiting for us to shut up so that they can say something, and that's not intelligent to me. But thank you for having me, Sums. I appreciate you. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Did I make you proud?
You did.
You made me proud.
Yes, you did.
Thank you. Thank you.
But
all right,
I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but there was something I wanted to touch on. One of the guys said something about how, when they were talking about women being combative, how the argument escalates, right? How somebody's always just arguing to argue, and how there's no conclusion to this. There's no, the argument's just going to escalate. She's combative, by the way. It goes both ways. Being combative is not gender specific, and they failed to mention that. But it's the maturity of thought of, and this is where they're telling on themselves, because that's just relationships. That's going to happen. This is where you're going to see people who are actually been in that position and did something about it. You stop. This is where you prove love is an action that occurs every day. It's a verb, it's an action. You stop and you go, hey, I'm here for me, I'm here for you, I'm here for us. Something's bothering you, let's talk about it. Instead of, you de-escalate, you talk them off the ridge. You don't just give it up. You don't just, Oh, I can't talk to you, stomp out of the room. This is, people who don't learn, people who haven't matured, people who have not learned to work through and actually be in healthy, loving relationships. And that was a learning point. I can't believe you pass up that opportunity to actually love, which we're supposed to be doing. It's a verb that we do every day. It's not just something we do in bed at night. It's not just in passing when I say I love you. We love every day, and we have to be able to stop the noise and love each other at any given point in time. And, they claim to do this. They claim to be leaders, but there's the opportunity to lead, and they don't take it. They don't do it. They don't even know how. And I wanted to say that earlier. Thank you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It is a pleasure. It's always wonderful to chat with you all, share my thoughts, get your thoughts. I always appreciate the space. Thank you all for joining. Like I said, go to Cam's Live if you want some ratchet mess. I'll be in there, hopefully not acting a fool. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.